Eagles versus the Tigers, and what promises to be a very exciting clash. McCarthy gets the tap away into a scrimmage of players. It goes again. The umpire is obviously looking for a free kick to try and clear it. Players trying to work the ball out of that centre square, unable to do so. It's like rugby at the moment. And finally, yes, umpire David Elliott has used common sense and has in fact found a free kick. It'll go the way of Jamieson. Jamieson over to his captain and Scotty Salisbury. Out wide they go. Elias with the football now. Up towards full forward. Players contesting up there. Off hands. Heel a chance. Can't do much with the football. Geyer. More loose handball. Scrambly football at the moment. Lamb is in there. But umpire Elliott has found a free kick. And the other way of the Eagles. The Eagles to work the ball out of defence.
Jeffrey Graham with a short pass, and with that pass he finds Robert Pyman, a very talented player. Played most of his football with the West Torrens reserve side last year. Puts it up towards the grandstand wing. Big fist away from behind. Race for pace as the ball scoots towards the boundary line, and just tapping that over the line there is Simon Hill. We've had just over 1 minute of the opening quarter. The breeze is favouring the left of screen, which is the northern end of Football Park. McCarthy gets the tap down from behind. The ball is pushed out wide. Hill first in there. Quick handle out towards Dean. Likewise, the ball now goes back towards McKay. Andrew McKay. It's a high kick. Getting back there is Geyer. He can't control the ball, and it goes out of play in that left forward pocket.
And the West Torrens Eagles, Kim, looking for their first win. They've had a slow... Woodville Eagles, I should say, looking for their first win, and they've had a slow start to season 91.
At the bottom of the pack, the handball trying to work his way through is Wiedemann, and there's a high tackle there, according to umpire David Elliott, who was officiating with Tony Checker tonight, and the recipient will be young Hallahan. Had a good game. In fact, had a good season last year. Kicking from right on 50 metres, assisted by the breeze, puts it up towards the head of the square. Big leap up there. Ball comes to ground. Tapping it out is Graham. Out towards Wiedemann. The handball in turn finds Morford. As the new Eagles get out of a defensive area, and the mark's been taken by McKay. So he plays on quickly with a handball. That goes the way of Jamieson. Back after a few niggling injuries over the summer period. And the mark's been taken by Tony Simons. And by gee, hasn't he found some form in these early Foundation Cup matches?
He's an extremely talented player. He's a veteran of many, many games. That was a perfect example of how to go at the footy. Eyes on it, and a beautiful catch.
Kicking from 55 metres out, launches with a drop punt. And setting himself a big mark by McCarthy. Handball's out to Pays. He works well in defence, Pays, for a wingman. The handball in turn out towards Moore. Moore puts it up high. Moore, setting himself and taking a good mark is Maynard. Now, Maynard would be keen to impress tonight as he puts out the pass towards Wiedemann. In turn, the handball now goes over the top. It's not a good one. Brett Dean tries to intercept. In there working hard was Colby for Torrens. In fact, the Woodville-West Torrens Eagles. And by gee, it's the first time I've had to call them, Ken, and it's not easy.
No, Kimbo, we all fell for the three-card trick in the opening game of the season. It's the Eagles. But it's the Tigers with possession through Simons. Goes the way of Hill, a promising youngster from the Bays. Chance for Hallahan with the extra pace around his body. That's super work by Paul Hallahan. Oh, that's a great goal for the Tigers.
Well, they won't see a better exponent of roving work than Paul Hallahan in that occasion. Got to the crumb, superb pace, one grab, and turned it around his body, just using his momentum as he
Here at West Lakes, there is a sea breeze. As I mentioned, it's favouring the northern end, and that's just making the work a little bit easier for the boys out there at the moment. Scott Salisbury, the Tiger captain, puts his side forward. It's a fairly long raking type of kick. The bounce doesn't really favour anyone. First one there will be Guy. The handball is short, but it's good out towards Moore. Moore tried to hook that one round his body, and we're more used to seeing Moore Neville in the reserves last year for Woodville playing up the forward line.
Yes, indeed, and having Andrew Pays and Moore in the back line is a bit of a change for those players and for the Eagles.
The ball centred nicely, big fist away from behind. The ball now goes down towards Moore again, out towards Wiedemann, crashes through another tackle. Geez, a strong footballer. Bromlow has the sit and punches away neatly. Down towards Dean, couldn't take it. In there is Maynard, flicked it up, nearly a throw. It was good work out to Hannum. Now Clem lends support and puts it out in turn to find Lukosius. Dropped what he should have taken, and Duthie says thanks very much and puts a handball out towards Donovan. Back to Dean. That was intercepted. Duthie gets another chance though. McKay is there. Now trying to paddle the ball forward was Neiman. He was pushed out of it. It scooped out towards Simons, and he should clear for the Tigers.
The Tigers going to attack up towards centre half forward. A chance now from McIntosh. McIntosh towards goal, and I think he's missed. He has. So the Bays go to 1-1-7. The Eagles yet to score.
It was a good dash by McIntosh. He's capable of that. Saw him a lot in the reserves last season. As the Tiger reserves won all but the last few games of the season after having a brilliant team.
The kick-off finds McCarthy. This young man showed a great deal of promise in the Eagles opening game, and he's continuing the good form tonight here at Football Park. Back towards centre wing it goes. Oh, up high on that occasion went Neiman. Only put one hand up. Chigwidden over to Scotty Salisbury. McKay. The Bays running the ball way out of defence. Up towards centre half forward. Off hands it goes. O'Dwyer almost the mark. The guy went without the football. Players working hard. Pays out towards Simons, who started superbly for the Bays. Kicks him out his body. It's the Tigers' second goal.
Smile on his face, and so he should. The veteran, Glenelg veteran, playing off a wing, enjoying a great night tonight. A few touches already in this game. And, good goal sense, Tony Simons. He played in the forward lines for a little piece of last season, last part of the year at least anyway. And he's an exciting player, plenty of pace, good ball sense. He certainly likes the goals, as he proved on that occasion.
Glenelg 2-1-13. The Eagles yet to get on the board, and we have had 7 minutes of the first term as umpire David Elliott puts ball to ground, officiating with Tony Checker tonight. McCarthy wins the tap rather handsomely, smothered off the boot by Clem from Dean. Now it's socketed forward again by Clem. Race for pace, and the quickest man there was Duthie, but he lost his footing. The ball in turn out towards Simon Hill. Trying to pick it up there was Garth Newton, couldn't do so. It's flicked out, paddled forward again. Now Neiman with an opportunity. The handball goes back out looking for Somerville. In turn, Wiedemann puts it out wide, searching for Maynard. He couldn't control it. Players in there working hard. That was nearly kicking in danger. It goes back out towards Wiedemann again. I think that was Seabone that let the boot fly. Clem puts one in. It's a wobbly one. It drops forward, and the mark is taken by Craig Elias.
Elias goes to the outer side. A chance for Bromlow now. Bromlow on the half-back flank. Loose is Jamison. He's got the entire outer half of Football Park in which to work with. Will the ball sit for him? It does. He has plenty of time. He's got Seabone loose. That's the way he goes. The Bays looking far the better side at the moment. Into the pocket with a wobbly kick. Thumped away by O'Dwyer. Player appear to be tackled high. That's Scotty Morford. He'll get the free kick. Call of play, and the kick paid to advantage. Back towards centre wing, but a good mark has been taken by Christie, who rightfully took the mark. The umpire didn't agree, and the mark has been taken now by Neiman. The kick came from Colby. Neiman, the big boy, big strapping youth, up towards centre half forward. Oh, up high, McKay. Good mark in defence for the Tigers. Out back towards centre wing. Chance for Dean or Hill. Take your pick. Brett Dean goes short there. Glenelg players loose everywhere. Fair Nickamar, like unregistered dogs. Up towards the forward pocket it goes. A poor kick by Scotty Salisbury, and the ball will go out of play in the full forward pocket for the Tigers.
And plenty of loose players, as you called it then, Ken, for the Bays. And, they're setting up the loose man well. They're playing on it every opportunity, and the Eagles need to go with their fellows at least. Otherwise, there's going to be too much pressure on their defence.
Clayton Lamb on the comeback trail after that nasty leg injury. He's playing at full forward opposed to O'Dwyer. Des O'Dwyer. McIntosh. Here's another goal coming up. Snaps with the right leg, and he's popped it through.
Now, there is a perfect example of actually going with your player. Whoever had McIntosh, and we'll pick it up in a minute, simply had to go with him, at least stand on the defensive side of McIntosh, make sure they were between him and the goals. There was just nobody with him. Ball came out, he tapped it on, and kicked an easy goal. He kicked a point earlier, so that takes his tally along to 1-1.
And it would appear as though Pays is McIntosh's man, and if he's a backman, I'm a Dutchman. I certainly was born in Australia, I can tell you. Kim Dillon said I talk like one. That may be the case, but the Eagles into attack towards centre half forward it goes, looking for Wiedemann. Good work by McKay again. Loses possession finally. Back to Lukosius. and turned to Wiedemann. Here's a chance now for the Eagles. Up towards full foot. It's a shocker. And in fact, out of bounds on the full. Well, the Eagles look a very, very ragged lot at the moment. There's Wayne Wiedemann. Strong. That's his main go, his strength. Perhaps his skill level not as good as it should be, as we saw on that occasion.
Yes, disappointing on that occasion. He's running into an open goal. Had time to steady and just didn't complete the kick.
The ball kicked back by McCarthy. The Eagles make it another opportunity now. Lukosius is back there. McKay's looked very good in the opening stages of this game. Donovan back towards McKay. Gets the left foot kick away. Out in the direction there of Pyman, Robert Pyman. Now it's picked up by Hannam, Sean Hannam. The pass is in, it's accurate, and the mark has been taken by Andrew Colby. Playing his second senior game. Some pretty useful wraps on this player. Let's see how good he is in front of goals. From about 25 metres out, he posted the Eagles first.
And that's a goal they desperately needed, the Eagles. They look just a little ragged in getting this team together over the last month. But let's not forget how difficult a job it is bringing teams and players together, two separate teams, amalgamating them over the summer and getting them to join forces. I guess it's similar to what the Adelaide Football Club have had to do. That young player in your screen, been hard at the club, is having plenty of talent. This is his second game. He'd be pleased with his start.
Glenelg 3-1, the Eagles one straight goal. Back with the umpire. Tony Checker, Newton, Christie with the tap. Graham around his body, back towards half forward. The Eagles with a chance again. McKay in pursuit of the football. As Kim said a moment ago, playing, well, that's got to be delivered out of bounds, surely. No, throw-in says the umpire, right in front of the grandstand here at Football Park. Andrew McKay, very promising start tonight by that young man. You see Christie and Neiman taken by Morfitt. Over to Maynard, a former Glenelg player himself, towards centre half forward. Elias under the hammer. Colby with the crumbs, taps it out towards Wiedemann. He can't gain possession, but he's a try. He goes in the game, and that's his strength and his ability to work hard. But again, his skills level let him down. He kicks out of bounds on the full.
Magnificent courage. He knew he had to get back on his left foot. He put his head down and just went through. Took the physical risk, unfortunately offline.
Oh, big leap by Newton. Never got close to the football, though. Morfitt couldn't take it. We're trying to establish who's playing where at the moment. It could be Darren Clem playing in the middle, and he's opposed to Salisbury, possibly, as the ball is put out wide. Brett Dean, in fact, he's opposed to, and Dean has the ball now. Now, Clem may get an opportunity through an error. Bromelo is there, back towards Dean, and it's a matter of which side capitalise on the mistakes, the better at the moment. As the ball is put forward, back there it's taken by Moore. He lifts the eyes. He was a little slow to dispatch of that football. Up high, Elias. Oh, he's a pretty good player, Craig Elias, and he'll be more than useful in 1991. He's taken 2 grabs already in this match, 13 minutes into the first term. The kick, back looking for Seabone, took the mark easily. What a great player he's been for the Tigers over the years. Now the target should be Lamb. The ball goes out in that direction, won't quite get there. Big lead from behind, could have been O'Dwyer. It's now picked up by, that could be Houth, I think, as he snaps around his body. And the ball goes out of play. In fact, it's Russell.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Nine's Wide World of Sports and our coverage of the Foundation Cup game between Glenelg and the Eagles from Football Park. Monday night live football. We're into the first quarter by almost 15 minutes, and the score at the moment, Glenelg 3-2-20 lead the Eagles 1 straight goal. It's a beautiful night for football here at headquarters, and a chance now for the Tigers to go back into attack. Joining me in the commentary box, of course, is Neville Roberts and Kim Dillon.
Thanks very much, Ken. Jason Bromelo with the ball. He's called to play on. The umpires officiating tonight are Tony Checker and David Elliott. Big leap there by Salisbury at the front of the pack. Couldn't take the football, though. It comes to ground. Working his way through there was Pyman, number 30 for the Eagles. He couldn't take it. Salisbury eventually does. The handball out towards Seabohm is very quick. He's inside 50. It's an accurate kick. It's the 4th goal to the Tigers.
Well, it was a beautiful bit of play from the centre-half forward. Seabohm playing there tonight. He's had a bit of experience at centre-half forward in his career, but of course played most of his time at full back. Let's have a look at this in replay. Mark Russell on the ground, and that's just a little bit of luck in deflection. Probably more than a little bit of luck, but it was Salisbury in the end that finally got the ball out to Seabohm. It was beautifully done towards goal, and Seabohm's first.
Yes, and the base kicking towards the left of your screen. Glenelg 4-2. The Eagles 1 straight goal. And we've played 15.5 minutes into the first quarter here. A balmy night. A little breeze that is blowing is going towards the lake end. Newton with a tap stolen by Wiedemann. Weeds through the pack superbly. Or poor work on that occasion by Hannam. Back towards Moore. The Eagles into attack now towards centre-half forward. Elias dropped one he should have taken. Maynard works hard. Maybe he should have got a free kick. Pyman there. Hill also for the Tigers working hard. The ball at half forward. But umpire on this occasion, David Elliott will call for a bounce.
Good desperate work from Elias. He's played well in the opening part of this game.
Bounce down, Elias. The tap to McKay, who started well, over to Hill. Simon Hill towards half forward. Pack forms off hands. Newton, the tap on. Back towards McKay, who's had a very good quarter for the Bays. Salisbury does it cleverly, Scotty Salisbury. The veteran up towards centre-half forward. Lamb is there, so is Morford. Or Guy appeared to get a high one, did he? No, he didn't. And the umpire will call for a bounce again at centre-half forward.
And there's Neil Barham in your screen shaking his head. He would be disappointed. They're second to the ball at the moment, and they're just not doing anything cleanly. And Nick Chigwidden on that occasion made a good tackle. In fact, he was the player that handballed it out to Seabohm before. I think I called it as Salisbury.
Well, Neil Barham, the man we just saw, he's responsible for a few rather different team placings with the Eagles tonight. Andrew Pays playing on a halfback flank opposed to McIntosh. He's already had 1-1 kicked on him as Clem chips in to take the mark. He's playing in the middle. The handball in turn goes out to the only goal kicker for the Eagles in Colby. He goes back towards Guy, who spears out a lovely looking pass searching for Maynard. Didn't quite find that player. The tackle on Mark Russell. He tried to tap the ball out. It goes to McKay, best on ground in my book for the first 17 minutes of this game. In turn out to Dean. McKay has had 9 touches. Dean finds McIntosh, the man that Pays should be standing, unless a move has been made. And the ball now transferred out towards Hallahan. Hallahan puts it up high. Players set themselves. Wiedemann back in defence. He's picked up some valuable touches for the Eagles. Now back out towards Pays. Pays in turn searching for a teammate over the head of that man. And Wayne Wiedemann, he's picked up 6 handballs already.
Great effort by Wiedemann. He actually had opportunities, kicked 2 points, an opportunity to kick some goals, particularly one where he ran into the open goal earlier this quarter.
Bromelo in the hands of the trainers behind play, got a heavy knock. Simons also started well for the Bays. Good work on that occasion by Hannam. Over towards Wiedemann. Wiedemann, oh, well done Maynard. Virtually threw it out to Clem. Clem with a well-placed kick towards Lukosius outside the 50-metre. Threw it away now. Here's a chance for Neiman. Neiman is flanked on this occasion by Somerville. Into an open goal. He shouldn't miss from here. Well, you guessed it, he has. Again, only a point to the Eagles. They go to 1-1-7. Glenelg 4-2-26 and Bromelo coming off.
Looking all the signs of a dislocated or very damaged shoulder. And Michael Barton will take his place. Let's hope it's not too serious for the Tigers.
The ball kicked to the outer side. Christie takes the mark easily. Dean starting to pick up plenty of touches. Got it out towards Chigwidden. Now working out there, paddling the ball forward was Colby. Again trying to push the ball forward for the Eagles was Jeff Graham. Now it's Tony Simons. He's kicked one already for the Tigers. The handball was searching for Seabohm, who has also kicked a goal in this term. Off the ground the ball goes. Both players fall to ground. Shane Moore gets the handball out to Wiedemann. Handball number 7. Out towards Geyer. Geyer's kick is a penetrating one, albeit wobbly. Looking for Lukosius. Couldn't find that player. Duthie will go all the way towards the boundary line. And he'll be pretty pleased with that. So he'll have it thrown in the right forward pocket.
Don't forget, of course, Wednesday at 1 a.m, a series not to be missed. The one-day international cricket, live from Jamaica. If you can't make it at 1 a.m, highlights from 5 p.m, Australia versus the West Indies. What a series.
Nothing wrong with getting up at 1 a.m, then going to work a few hours later. if you're a cricket fanatic. The ball out to Barton, his first touch for the night. He replaced Bromelo. Big lead from Jamison on the comeback trail after an injury. And a free kick has been awarded. Talking about now on the comeback trail, this will be the first kick to Clayton Lamb. Prodigious kick as a rule. He's assisted by the breeze. He's waiting for the right options. Bit of a wobbly one, puts it forward. Big fist away, quite easy for O'Dwyer to apply the spoil there. Now Clem over the top. The handball went out searching for more. McIntosh in there. He's tackled by Wiedemann. That wouldn't be enjoyable. Now Hill kicks around his body, but he flirted with that boundary line and paid the penalty.
It just appears that the Eagles have lifted their rating from earlier in this quarter. They were very disappointing in the opening part of the quarter. They need to get to the ball first, get in and just make a bit more of a line to the crumbs. They're defeating them in all those areas at the moment.
Hill with a chance now, puts the Tigers into attack once more, but good defensive work by O'Dwyer. Takes the mark. The lead comes from Moore. That's the way he goes. And Moore normally plays on a half-forward flank and has played the last couple of games on the half-back flank. His 5th possession for this quarter. Stephen Moore back towards centre wing. Elias, a very strong mark overhead is Elias. And he'll put Glenelg back into attack again. Gee whiz, he conceded ground, but he'll find Dean, Brett Dean. The left foot kick towards centre, half forward it goes. Players contest, pays there to Colby. Colby to Geyer, hurry kick. Back to the centre of the ground. Dean again coming out in opposition to Clem, and he takes the mark. Well, Clem playing in the middle, I don't think he's a sentiment. I think he's more attuned to roving.
Yes, they've probably broken even on touches to date, but he would have more pace than Clem. There's no doubt about that. Let's see how they go over the next quarter.
Ball punched towards the boundary line. Now, Tony Simons likes these situations. He works well in close quarters. That time it didn't pay off, and Morford has the football. Not over-endowed with pace, but had enough leg speed to gain balance and look upfield. And searching for Maynard, he couldn't take it. Back there is McKay, the player we spoke of earlier. Hannam applies the pressure. McKay gets the kick away. Underneath it, the ball is punched by Morford once more. Colby picks it up. He does look impressive. Only his second league game. Puts it out towards Wiedemann, who stands his ground as usual. Looking for 50. None forthcoming. Possession number 12. The handball out towards Jeffrey Graham. Graham in turn spears out a pass looking for Maynard. He's found some space. He should hook it back towards the head of the square. He does so, looking back there for Lukosius, and the mark's been taken by that player, and that was a promising forward movement by the Eagles.
Talk about promising, so's the player that took this mark. It was a good disciplined kick from Maynard. He's an experienced veteran player. He knows what to do with the ball. A lot of players would have had a shot for goal there, and it would have ended up a wasted ball.
Robert Lukosius from 15 metres out posts his first goal for the Eagles.
The play was set up further down the ground by Colby. He really did take the risk to go across the ground. And there's an old saying about going through the middle of the ground with a loose kick. You really do have to make sure it's a 200% chance of getting the ball. But Wiedemann held his ground. The kick down the ground was good to Maynard, and there it is finally with Lukosius. Good play by the Eagles. It's the first time they've completed one through half forward. Elias is on top there for the Bays at the moment, and David Neiman, if he can get on top, he might just be able to change the personality of this game.
Back in the middle, Glenelg 4-2, the Eagles 2-1. Back with umpire Checker. Balmy night here. 23.5 minutes gone in the first quarter. Christie got the tap and then took possession up towards centre half forward it goes, looking for Lamb. And there's the siren. And at quarter time, we see Glenelg in front by 13 points.
It was a good quarter by Glenelg. They started well, and the Eagles had no answer for them early. They finally came back a bit tougher, and that man there certainly set the scene for being a little bit tougher. Could have got them a lot closer if he'd been straighter at goal, but David Neiman probably holds the key to the proceedings at centre half forward if he can get on top of Elias.
So at quarter time, Glenelg leading 4 goals 2-26, opposed to the Eagles 2-1-13. We'll be back with more live football right after this break.
Welcome back to Football Park, and at quarter time, the Tigers 4-2, 26, 13 points in front of the Eagles, 2-1. Looking at the main goal scorers, firstly for the Tigers, one to Simons, Seabone, Hallahan and McIntosh, and for the Eagles, young Colby's played pretty well, and also Wayne Wiedemann. We have David Mackay on the boundary, and David Hallahan played well for the Bays last year, and again tonight starting to show some of that blistering pace.
Well, he really struggled last year with the quality of rovers around him, KG, but that opening goal that he kicked for Glenelg, I'm not sure the viewers at home saw it, but it was an absolute beauty. He was running into the pocket, he pushed the ball up and used the breeze, and the breeze just sucked it through the goals. Very intelligent bit of roving.
Yes, he certainly shows some great pace, and that's a feature of his game, of course, is the fact that he's got great goal sense as well as tremendous pace. And also another player that's played well in these early games has been Tony Simons on the wing. He looks to have bulked up a bit, David.
He has. I thought he's a bit like Keith Thomas from Norwood, Ken. When he came back from the AFL, his form wasn't terrific, but this year he certainly seems to be in sparkling form. And these are the sorts of goals that he loves kicking. He practices them at training, and he knows where the goals are, and he kicks them continuously.
And these games we see some youngsters making their debut. Young McIntosh, who I saw play many games in the twos last year, has done one or two useful things for the Tigers.
Well, if you watch his play, KG, he covers an incredible amount of ground, and that's really the benefit to the side. He's a runner of some note, and I think he'll only get better as the season gets on.
What about Johnny Seabone? Where would you play him? In attack or defence?
Anywhere. He'd be in my side. He'd be one of the first picks. Let's not be surprised about him being a goal scorer. 2 or 3 years ago, he was played at centre-half forward by Graham Corns with success, and Kim Hodgins put him back there tonight, and he looks the goods.
And David, just talking about the Eagles, they look a little bit ragged, particularly up forward.
Well, I mentioned before to a couple of people off camera, Ken, that you've got two sides used to playing two different styles of play. Now they've got a new coach, so you've got 3 different elements, and it's going to take them a little while to blend together, and that's certainly showing. Their teamwork tonight is almost non-existent. Yes,
big Neil Barn there. At least he can smile. He's got a big job to do this coming year to mould both the sides, as we take you back to your commentator, Kim Dillon.
If you draw a line with the Crows, though, Neville, they're coming back from 10 different coaches all into one side, so there's an argument for and against that.
Indeed there is.
OK, start of the second quarter. Glenelg 4 goals to the Eagles 2-1, 13-point advantage to the Tigers as Somerville puts his side into attack. He hooks one around his body, puts it up high. It's punched away from Barton, picked up brilliantly by Wiedemann. Possession number 13, but once more he's inaccurate. So he's kicked one out of bounds on the full, and one for a behind.
He's certainly getting the ball, Wiedemann, and he would be disappointed about his attack on the goals. He quite single-handedly could have changed the course of the game, but he's certainly setting an example for others.
The throw in, taken by Somerville. Somerville around his body. Elias is back there. Can he mark? He does, just inside the goal line. Craig Elias. The Eagles going to the left of your screen with a slight breeze here at headquarters as Elias goes to the outer side, but he'll be made to have a kick again, or kick it again, to bring the ball back over his mark.
Yes, he actually went to the side of his mark, and the rule is that he must kick over his mark, and if he wanted to go out there, well, then he has to run around to his right, and he'll be called back again. The umpire simply should now move in and explain to him what's going on, Ken, in my opinion.
Well, there's no point in umpiring from where he is, because the player doesn't even know what the umpire's on about. Go up and talk to the player, then you've only got the one problem.
So Elias will, if he wants to kick, and he'll be forced to bring it back again now. It's ridiculous. He should have done that in the first place. Let's see what he does. He might even take the footy off him. That is a ridiculous decision.
I suppose the third option, the player should know the rule.
Well, he probably should, Kim, but it's common sense prevailing out there, and had umpire Checker gone up on the first occasion to Elias, that situation wouldn't have happened. That's part of his job, is to explain what he's doing at these interpretations. However, back towards centre wing it goes. Chance now for the Bays once again. It's got to be a free kick to Jamison, and he'll be paid the free kick at centre wing. Jamison now. Very talented footballer, Jamison. Will have a good year for the Bays, unless I'm a very ordinary judge, and he would say I am. It's Rod Jamison towards centre half forward. McCarthy in front. Lamb is also there. Maynard, a hurried kick. Chigwitten with a chance. Hannon with him. The long handball over to Barton. Barton to the left boot towards centre half forward, but Pays there, playing in defence tonight, takes the mark at centre half back. Pays now goes to the outer side. Looking out there for Graham. With him is Hill. Graham, ball to ground. Hill. Graham. Players battling for possession. Going in there is Seabone. Threw the ball out towards Dean. Tackled by Colby, who had a very good first quarter for the Eagles. And that's got to be holding the ball. Yes, and Colby will take the free kick.
Colby 2 minutes in, nearly 3 minutes into this second term, and he finds out Clem. Clem playing the centre tonight for the Eagles. His kick was an absolute shocker, and the ball goes out towards Christie. Picks it up quite easily, gets back onto the right boot, straightens his body, and obviously didn't feel that comfortable with his left. And he's paid the penalty for not quite being balanced and placed that out of bounds on the full.
What breeze there is in his defence is blowing straight across the ground towards the east, so that's probably the reason it got caught.
Jeffrey Graham puts it up towards centre-half forward. Neiman with his first or second possession gets the handball out. Hannam an opportunity. Oh, very good handball. Too good, in fact, for Somerville. It was far too quick for that player. Elias mops up, and he makes the most of that Eagles error. Out to Chigwidden, back to Elias. The ball is picked up beautifully by Seabohm on the first bounce. Out to Brett Dean, who is getting on top of Clem. He seems to have too much run in his legs. The ball is put forward. Good body work by... Well, McIntosh took the ball, put it out to Hocking. Hocking goes towards goal, but it's just offline, and the body work was provided by Clayton Lamb.
And Glenelg's movement of the ball at the moment is good. They have the initiative, they're making the running, and the Eagles just go into lapses. They're second to the ball again now. They're waiting for something to happen instead of taking the initiative and being first to it and making something happen themselves. They need to do that, otherwise Glenelg will run all over them.
O'Dwyer goes to the outer side, 4 minutes into the second term. Hannam went up high, couldn't complete the mark. Hill's kick is smothered and ricochets back towards the centre of the ground. Neiman coming out, uses his bulk, gives it to Clem. That's better football by the Eagles. Now, what can they do with the football on this occasion? Up towards Lukosius. In the way on that occasion was Newton. Duthie with the crumbs. In towards the pocket. Barton, Colby. Barton first play to the football, gets a handball away on occasion to Russell. He can't do much with it. Wiedemann virtually threw it away. Lukosius now with an opportunity, looks towards goal. Has he goal? No, he hasn't. He has, in fact, that's his second goal. Great goal.
Well, the umpire went right across the goal. It appeared that he had missed it, but let's pick it up in replay. Wiedemann caught, was a good tackle on him by Russell. Lukosius had a look around, was going to open up the goals for somebody else, saw there was enough space there for himself on his left boot, and with his second kick, booted his second goal. So the Eagles claw their way. They hold in there, or hang in there at least. If they can get the initiative back, it might change the course of the game.
Glenelg, 4 goals, 3-27, leading the Eagles 3-1-19. The Eagles have the breeze, and they're bouncing back as McCarthy wins the tap. Over the top is Dean once more. Very quick handball. Went out towards, or in the end it was Simons got the kick away, courtesy of McIntosh. Hallahan in there for the crumbs. Salisbury back there. We scooped that one out, looking for McIntosh. Couldn't find that player. Christie, the big ruckman down on the ground, did it well to get it to Hallahan. Up high, and strong mark taken by Clayton Lamb.
Looking for form, coming back from an injury, and still in the obviously the Crows training list, and he would really be up to impress the selection in the upcoming Foster's Cup match.
First mark, second kick. It's a long one at that, into the breeze, and he still kicks it about 45 to 50 metres. It's fisted away, taken there by McIntosh. Now Hocking, the quick handball out towards Heel. Heel goes towards goal. It's offline. In fact, it's out of bounds on the full.
Well, the Bays had the numbers there again, Kim, right in front of the pack where they should have been to Crum, and the Eagles were left flat-footed. They whizzed the ball around, and the Eagles can count themselves lucky they didn't have a goal against them on the board.
6.5 minutes into the second term. Jeffrey Graham for the Eagles puts it up high. Players set themselves. The big fist away came from McCarthy. In there is Morfitt working hard. It's pushed forward by Christie again at the bottom of the pack. Likewise Hallahan, Chigwidden out towards Clayton Lamb. That's kick number 3. It's curling back. Getting underneath it was O'Dwyer. Couldn't take the mark. Players grab him by the jumper. That's a dead heat according to umpire Tony Checker.
There's a couple of interested spectators. Ross Gibbs and Adrian Batterson looking on. As Kim Hodgman got them up his sleeve for depth. Good defensive work by O'Dwyer. Then he was outnumbered and managed to hold the ball in.
The bounce. And the players around the fall of the football as Graham picks up the footy back towards the half-back flank. It goes with a high kick. Up high, Jamison had his sight set on that football a long way from home, out towards Dean. Dean thought about the handball, then goes the way of Barton. Back towards Simons. Simons from 70 metres into the pocket, looking out there for young Hocking. He can't take the mark, but only a youngster, Chigwidden. Out towards Hill again. Hill has time to raise the eyes, kicks towards the goal. In there is McIntosh, 2 against 1. Pays. Hallahan comes in, stolen by Pays beautifully. Pays, a good handball away, finds Moore. That's good football by the Eagles. He goes short. It's a poor kick by Moore. They've given away possession straight to Jamison. That was a golden opportunity missed by the Eagles. Back towards full forward and McCarthy. Good strong mark, McCarthy. Gee whiz, that's a shocking handball out towards Pays. They'll lose it again. And while two unforced errors on that occasion by the Eagles put themselves under enormous amount of pressure.
Well, you couldn't sum it up any better than that, Ken. When you've got possession and you give it back to the opposition, unforced, there's not much the coach can do for you.
Yeah, there's lots he'd probably like to do to them, but I don't think I'll repeat that, Ken. As Somerville taps it towards the boundary line, it would be extremely frustrating.
Kim, they just appear to be playing without any confidence. Maybe that is part of the amalgamation. There's Kim Hodgman in your screen, making some calls and changes, I guess, but not that he needs to at the moment. They just seem to lack confidence at the moment, the Eagles, and maybe, as I said, it's a result of their amalgamation.
The ball out towards Salisbury, quick handball out towards Simon. Simon's in turn, beautiful vision to pop out the pass to find McIntosh. McIntosh concedes ground, goes back to Barton. They probably gained about 2 metres from that, but the kick was under pressure. Consequently, it wasn't a good one. It's picked up by McCarthy. That's a better handball. Back to Morford. He buys a little bit of time and space. Now puts the ball out wide, looking for... Well, he's looking for Pyman, but it was poorly directed again. And yeah, well, I don't go along with that argument 100% about a new coach and coming from 2 different coaches. I think the skills are basically the same. A handball's a handball, a kick's a kick. And they're not doing it well at the moment as Lamb kicks around his body and he has hit the post. And as I mentioned, Neville, the only reason I say that, you look at the Crows and their form has been brilliant and they've come from 10 different coaches.
Yeah, but can you compare the standard of play? You've got the cream of South Australian footy. You can't say that's the cream of South Australian footy out here tonight, Kimbo.
I guess there's fair argument from both sides, but my point is quite simply that the players lack confidence rather than skills at the moment, and that is really just a case of getting to know each other and settling down and playing as a team, and that is just not happening for them at the moment.
I think all 3 points have some merit, so we'll leave it at that as Newton takes the mark, and he's a lad that can take a big mark. And he was a very handy player at full forward in the reserves for a number of years. Did his apprenticeship there. Got an opportunity when Stephen Nichols, as the mark's taken by Lukosius, when Stephen Nichols went back to Victoria. Now if he starts firing and Lukosius starts marking like that, the Eagles will be in this game.
Well, it's a good move having Lukosius at full forward. He's had a big summer. He's fit. He's a very talented player. And as you said, Kim, without the class full forwards that they've enjoyed in the past, this fellow might be just the replacement they want.
Well, he's kicked 2. This one won't hurt his confidence. That's 3.
Well, was there some bright lights for the Eagles? Let's have a look at the kick in from Newton. It was a deliberate kick, put it up high. He was looking for the big mark. Lukosius set himself, found some space to run and jump at the ball. And it was a hard one for him. There he is, back of the pack. Players all around him. He judged the ball beautifully, better than anybody else. Took a mark and he's kicked 3.
Glenelg 4-4, the Eagles 4-1. A good game of football now. 3 points of difference. Almost 11 minutes gone, the second quarter here at Football Park. This game coming to you live on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Dean in there, works hard. Ball being held to him, says umpire David Edit, and there'll be another bounce in the middle of the ground. Graham Corns, Robert Zarella, of course, behind him, the new member of the board, the AFL board, or the Adelaide Football Club board. Mr. Spectators, taken by McKay. Players working hard. Over to Jamison. Chigwedden, good movement. Back to McKay. Had a very good first quarter for the Tigers. Towards full forward it goes. O'Dwyer with a chance. Good shepherding work by Pays. Back towards Stephen Moore, and he takes a mark on the half-back flank. Will he go over the top? He will. It's a dangerous handball, but it finds Pays. Pays towards half-forward. Elias is there. Chance now for Hannum around his body. Back towards centre half-forward. Wiedemann is there. Can he get the crumbs? He goes in. Duthie is there. Somerville with the extra pace. Barton. Back to Lukosius, to Wiedemann. A chance for the Eagles again, but it's high, wide and handsome. In fact, out of bounds on the full.
Out in the full twice and on the full once. But he's right off line. He's had plenty of shots and he's gun-shot at every one of them. I guess the only consolation is he is getting plenty of the ball.
The ball will have to go back. In fact, a free kick and illegal shepherd, according to umpire Tony Checker. And the free kick will go the way of Hannam. So the Eagles get another opportunity. Hannam kicking from outside 50. That's Sean Hannam. It's a wobbly kick forward. Underneath it there is Lukosius. Couldn't take it. And the ball is out of play. And there's Paul Bullis, who is not playing tonight because of a sprained ankle, but he should be okay and represent the Eagles next week.
Had a terrible run with injuries, as you see this game live on Nine's Wide World of Sports at Football Park. And that kick in, just a little bit too much towards the pocket. They need to open up the goals as Wiedemann goes to goal. He's offline again.
I can't believe that. Now, that is out on the bounce 3 times. He also put one out of bounds before. Out on the full, I should say, 3 times. And also out of bounds once, as well as kicking a point, which is not good kicking. Now the ball put to the outer side, and Neiman takes a mark. That's his first for the game. Second, in fact. We've had just over 13 minutes of this second term. The Eagles are getting plenty of the football. They're not finishing off their work now, but if they can keep persevering like this, I tell you, they may be a chance as Lukosius takes another mark.
And, he's 4 kicks, 4 goals. Let's have a look at it in replay. Good body work, and 1 out. He's proving a real highlight at full forward. Only 3 points the difference, and we've been very critical of the Eagles. They could take the lead here.
4 goals for Glenelg. The Eagles have kicked 4-1. Lukosius has kicked 3. And he won't add to that. Make that 3-1. And for a specialist full forward, only 30 metres out, should have been a little closer.
Well, he's becoming a specialist full forward, and I guess he has to learn the professional edge, just not to miss those, because he won't get any more than 7 or 8 kicks a game. And if he can finish with 5 or 6, it will be a star.
Duthie to the outer side. Neiman again. Takes his 3rd mark. See, this bloke's big. He is strong. A little inconsistent at the moment. Up towards full forward it goes. Off the pack it goes towards Simons. Duthie. Jamison. Barton. LeBay's working it beautifully. Russell out of defence. Took his eyes off the footy. Back towards centre wing. Scotty Salisbury. In front is Moore. Coming out is Clem with a hurry kick. Doesn't cover much territory. Goes the way of McIntosh. His handball is loose. Hannam goes to Clem. Now a chance for the... as we see Hannam again. Up towards centre half forward, but poorly put. And that's the reason why they're not in front, because their disposal is terrible. Duthie back towards the centre of the ground. That's the difference. That finds Mackay. Over to Hallahan. To Dean. That's better movement by the Tigers, and that's what the Eagles can't do at the moment. Beautifully put. And that's an example of the difference between the 2 sides. The Bays are finishing it off. The Eagles aren't, and a good mark has been taken by young Wayne Thornborough.
Well, Ken, disposal is not just the kicker. Disposal also belongs to the fellow who you're kicking it to, and if he's not running into your space, into your eyes, he is at fault, not necessarily the kicker. And for some of the Eagles players, they really haven't got anyone ahead making space for them.
Wayne Thornborough, lovely kick. In fact, it will carry, I think. It has a goal to the Tigers.
Beautiful goal to Thornborough. Let's watch how it took place. Dean out of the centre. He's got beautiful touch. The lead was magnificent. Looked up. He ran out. Thornborough judged that beautifully, because he ran out to the right of your screen at home, which is right in the line of kick that Dean had. He's a left footer. Beautifully put, and the kick was a long one. Magnificent goal to Thornborough.
Glenelg 5-4, the Eagles 4-2. And there's only 8 points in this match as the Eagles go forward once more. The ball put out wide. Mackay received an unfavourable bounce. Now it's pushed forward. In there is Pyman. That was good desperate work. He's still over the ball, paddling it forward. Oh, that was good play by Pyman. Back towards Clem. He had the kick smothered. Now Dean picks up another possession. He is beating Clem at the moment in the centre. Mind you, Clem's had some of the ball, but Dean's finished off his work a little better. And a free kick has been picked out. That was a high tackle. And it will go the way of the Tigers. Young Hallahan has the ball. Number 34 for the Tigers puts it up towards centre half forward. It's well directed. The fist away is good from Morfitt. Now playing in defence on Lamb. Picked up by Stephen Geyer. He's been quiet for the Eagles. Normally picks up a lot of loose balls back in defence, and the mark has been taken by Elias.
Once again, my point about the receivers, that nobody ran to his kick. Everybody ran to the left of the screen, and consequently the players are just putting the ball in the air.
Christie took a fine mark back towards Heel. Heel over the head of Hallahan. He's not all that tall, but he had Chick Whidden there backing up. The ball goes in once more towards from Russell. Oh, Simons nearly stole it. Taken by Lamb on the left boot. He's normally very accurate, and he's kicked his first. Well, it's one Lamb needed. He's an opportunist half forward normally, but playing
at full forward tonight. He's had 5 kicks and his first goal. He's recognised as a goal kicker, so if he's ever going to get in that Crows side, that's really what he's got to do. He needs a couple of bags of 4 and 5, probably before he'd be considered again, but to recover from an injury, looks pretty fit, and he'd be happy to get away with his first goal.
The Tigers 6-4, the Eagles 4-2 on 9's Wide World of Sports. Game coming to you from Football Park. McCarthy shows a great deal of promise, gave the ball towards Clem. Clem picks off the ground towards half forward Barton, who's done some useful things in this quarter. Goes over the way of Elias, who's also played well. Up towards half forward, looking on this occasion for Jamison, but the ball goes out of play. Right in front of the grandstand here at Footy Park.
And Ken, we've seen a lot of number 8 tonight, Andrew McCann. Just take the opportunity to tell viewers he's a 20-year-old from Lucindale. He actually was at the Bay as a junior. He went home for a while and he's back again, but he's a real talent. He's played well tonight.
Had 14 possessions. And of course, another Glenelg champion came from there, Lucindale, Stephen Copping. Back towards the centre wing. Chance for that man we're talking about, Andrew McKay. Kicks it off the ground over towards Mark Hannam, who battles hard for that football. Goes in the second time. The kick is smothered. Colby, stolen by Nick Chidwidden. Comes back towards centre wing. Salisbury is the player there. Towards half forward. Lamb in front. The spoiler, Guy, should I say, over to Stephen Moore. Poor kick, but it finds Wiedemann. Wiedemann towards half forward. Looking at there for Neiman. Beautifully put on that occasion by Wiedemann. Inside the 50-metre he goes. Up towards full forward. Almost into the goal square. Off hands. And it's pushed through for a point. The Eagles 4-3-27. Trail the Tigers 6-4-40.
David Neiman at centre half forward is a real talent. He's probably doesn't do enough. He's fit this season, and Neil Barn would be looking from him for a lot. He could change the course of any game. He's a powerful player.
Free kick has been paid the way of the Eagles. Duthie was the man who put the ball back into play, but out there the mark has been taken. It appears to be Pyman. Number 30 for the Eagles puts it up. Neiman up high, couldn't take the football though. Or quick handball out there towards Mark Hannam. It may have been Somerville who got the handball out. The kick towards goal is just offline, and the Eagles have another point. Glenelg on 6-4, the Eagles 4-4, and we're into time on in this second term.
He's a goal opportunist as well as Mark Hammond. On that occasion, I would have backed him in, spinning out of trouble. That's his sort of goal.
The kick-off back towards the half-back flank. Simons, Wiedemann. Kretschmer has come onto the ground to replace Rod Jamison for the Tigers. And the Fitzroy under-19s. Umpires Tony Checker and David Elliott. It's umpire Checker in your screen. He does the bouncing. Kicked in mid-air by Hannam, but it's taken by Barton, who's done some useful things in this second quarter. This kid's a very good player, in my opinion. Simon Hill. Over the way of Dean, he's got blistering pace. Look at him go. The outer side here at Football Park. The left foot kick up towards Thornborough. Didn't find its target. Stolen by O'Dwyer. Back towards Clem. Chance now for the Eagles to get out of defence. Over the top to O'Dwyer. It's good running by O'Dwyer. Back towards centre wing. Finds the mark there on Pyman. Scotty Morfitt now with a chance. Runs around Seabone. Onto his left foot towards centre half forward it goes. Off hands. A chance now for the Coasters. He's booted 3. Stolen by Russell. Russell supported on this occasion by Barton, almost holding the ball. The handball away towards Donovan. He lost possession. The Eagles are desperate up forward at the moment, which is good stuff. The way now of Hannam. Hannam up towards full forward. Has the mark been paid? Play on is the call. Hasn't been paid. The ball didn't carry to Newton into a pack of players. They feel for holding the ball, but umpire Checker will call for a bounce.
Well, here's the mark in replay, and it looked like it carried, but either way, the Eagles can count themselves very lucky to have the ball in their forward line. That kick, that loose kick by Sean Hannam in the forward line went straight to the bays, and they nearly kicked a goal from it. I noticed Neil Barnes sent the runner out. Very inexperienced thing to do, and not the right thing either.
Wiedemann gets the free kick, and that's the advantage of taking a front position. Now let's see if he's a little more accurate from a set shot. He does kick the ball a long way, and this would be a more than handy goal. They trail by 2 goals, and there was some inaccurate footwork there, but by gee, there was a lot more desperation for the Eagles in that forward area, Neville, to keep the ball up there.
Indeed there was, and this will be his first set shot, Wiedemann.
Starts it out to the right, the breeze will bring it back. That's his first goal.
Well, it might just prove that he needs a bit more time for these shots at goal. Doesn't seem to appear to like them on the run too much. Over the top of the ball is his trademark, and Wayne Wiedemann. And he's earned a lot of free kicks tonight. He doesn't normally get that. Might have been a bit light. He's a tough player, always runs straight at the ball. That's a handy goal. He's been one of the Eagles' best tonight.
8 kicks, 10 handballs to Wayne Wiedemann. Glenelg 6-4, the Eagles 5-4. 6 points of difference here at Footy Park. A good game of footy. On this occasion, the Bays getting the tap away. 42 for the Bays. Elias with the football now. Back towards the centre wing it goes. The Bays have possession. McIntosh thought about the handball, then goes towards half forward. Lamb is there. No, off hands, I thought it came. So did the umpire. Taken by Clem. Over to Graham. A consistent footballer. Back to Geyer. Geyer goes short to Stephen Moore, and he marks. Half-back flank. Dean on the mark.
Beautiful eyes by Guy. He was in a lot of trouble, took the risk, and he found Moore.
Moore back towards centre wing. Up high went McCulley. Stewie McCulley got rock and roll in the bargain. McIntosh to Barton to Hallahan in trouble. Almost hit a brick wall. Simons, the handball's loose. Doesn't find Barton. Barton goes in again. But working hard is young Kretschmer, but there's the siren. And at half-time, it's the Tigers by 6 points.
And we were critical of the Eagles' performance for the first 2 quarters, but only trailed by a small margin now. They were a lot more endeavour that quarter, harder at the football, and it'll be a hard game in the last half.
So at half-time, Glenelg leading on 6 goals for 40 points. The Eagles on 5 for 34. We'll be back after the half-time break with interviews, updates, scores, the works.
Half-time here at Football Park on Monday Night Live Football with the Tigers in front by 6 points, 6-4, plays 5-4.
At half-time, the goal scorers for the Bays. There's a lot of them. Seabourne, Simons, Hallahan, McIntosh, Lamb and Thornborough, 1 each. And for the Eagles, Lukosius leads the way with 3.
And Neville, just looking at the game up until half-time, how have the Eagles got back into the game?
Well, predominantly, I guess you've got to give the credit to Lukosius.
Yeah.
In the first half, we were very critical of the Eagles because they weren't at the ball. They had no initiative. They weren't definite. They looked like they lacked a lot of confidence. But gradually, they crawled their way back, just scrabbaged, and that's a new word. I've made one up for tonight. Just put that in.
Sounds great.
They scragged their way back into the game, mainly through the efforts of Wiedemann. David Neiman at centre-half forward started to do a bit more, and of course, Lukosius started to take a grab at full forward. And after a bad first half, they're well in it.
Certainly a good game up until half-time. Well, yesterday, of course, at Mintara, we saw Port Adelaide play the Bulldogs, and Port Adelaide had a big win in rather hot conditions, Neville.
Well, it was sweltering conditions, and I was talking to Greg Phillips today, but I didn't actually go down there. I wouldn't have minded going down to the lighthouse for a few beers, but he said it was sweltering. He took the kids fishing on the Saturday and said he still had sunburn Sunday, so he had a hard day of it. But the game was played in the country in front of a very small crowd, but it... From his point of view, he said that Port Adelaide started to develop their teamwork a little bit more. Mark Tyler at full forward was good again. Kemp playing on the ball around the centre has really come on from his reserves last year. Mark Morton on a wing played well as also for them. But for the Dogs, it was a bit of a sad day. Rudy Mandermaker went off at half time. He kicked 4 up to then, and Ingerson at centre half forward didn't really do enough. And I'm a bit disappointed with him, I understand. But Greg said that the whole day in terms of promotion before football was, whilst it wasn't reported as a good promotion, he said it was fantastic country atmosphere.
Well, I guess, Neville, from the Bulldogs' point of view, they've lost a number of key players, and Alan Stewart is going to blood some youngsters up there. So obviously that was their first chance to have a go at league footy.
Well, it was, and that's entirely the scene in this Foundation Cup through all the matches we're seeing. A lot of new players, a lot of kids getting their opportunities.
Which is great.
Well, that's what it's all about, and there we see Rosonico, who actually played for a little bit at centre-half forward for Port Adelaide yesterday as well.
And there were the final scores, 20 goals 10. The Magpies defeated the Dogs 11 goals 9.
And the goal scorers from that game, Tyler led the way with 7, Boyd 5, and Mark Williams with 3, and Mandermaker for the Dogs kicked 4.
And just quickly, Rocky, before we go to the break, Roger did only play for the Magpies. I wonder whether he'll play with Port this year.
Well, I guess it's looking that way.
Yep.
I doubt whether the Crows would pick him up. He played a little bit at centre-half forward, so there's a bit of a hint to what might happen. John Carl using his players everywhere.
OK, we'll come back with more on Monday Night Live Football from Footy Park. Stay with us. And there you see the prize money for the Foundation Cup. The first side to win the premiership, $17,500, second $10,000, third $8,000, fourth $6,000, and so it goes to fifth and ninth, all winning $5,700. Certainly nothing to be sneezed at. And David Mackay, Lukosius up forward, has been pretty impressive tonight. He's put in 3 goals for the Eagles.
You might remember KG Chris Lukosius,
yes,
his brother.
Yep.
Played for Woodville. Was a pretty strong sort of player. And while this young fella's blonde, his brother was dark. He's not a natural left footer, incidentally, and that was a very good wrong foot kick for goal by the big man. But he's been a real focal point up forward for them. And 3 goals is not a bad effort in a half of football.
No, and a pretty strong mark. And you know, obviously he is going to give the Eagles someone to kick to up there. That's good for the coming season.
Well, the thing that Neil Baum's done probably better than most, I think Graham Corns has done it well, John Carl's done it well, is they've taken beefy, puppy fat young men and turn them into big, hard footballers. And I think Lukosius certainly is in that mould. And if Neil Baum can just get a little bit of weight off him, harden him up a little bit, he could be a real powerhouse at full forward.
We're seeing a lot of youngsters make their debut for league footy in the Foundation Cup. Wayne Thornborough, have you seen him for the Tigers?
Well, I've watched this young man develop through the Teal Cup squads and the Nissan Cup squads, and I've been very impressed with him as a junior footballer. Now he needs to make the break into league football, but he's one who has thinned down. He was quite soft in his approach to football a couple of years ago. He's obviously been working the weights very, very hard. He's had the benefit of it. That lead was a very intelligent lead. He led where Neville Roberts said they need to go, to the boot of the footballer coming downfield. He marked and goal, and it just stamps him as a player to watch.
Well, one player the Bays badly need, and perhaps the Crows could look at if he gets 100% fit, and that's Clayton Lamb.
No doubt, no doubt. Clayton Lamb is a talent.
He's a class act, isn't he?
Yes, he is, and I would certainly suggest that he'd be perhaps in the top 20 footballers in this state, no doubt about that. That goal is an indication. Back from a broken leg, missed many weeks of football. In fact, his pre-season was interrupted, but a goal like that, they're the goals that is his trademark, and a few more like that and he'll be back in the Crows' side.
What about Wayne Wiedemann? He's an interesting player, isn't he? He works hard, he's tough, he's aggressive, but at times his kicking lets him down badly.
Well, let's cover his attributes. One is it's unbelievable courage.
Yeah, well, no doubt about that.
He just keeps going and driving through. Certainly he lacks the skills of the game, and that was his first goal from his 5th scoring shot. 4 of them were out of bounds on the full, 6 scoring shot. In fact, one of them was a point. So his kicking really does let him down, but his courage can't be questioned.
So at half-time, of course, Glenelg lead by 6 points. We'll come back with more footy on Nine's Wide World of Sport. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Football Park. I'm with the General Manager of the South Australian National Football League, Lee Wicker. Lee, thanks for your time. Okay. A rather historic event took place today when the South Australian SNFL directors voted in the Adelaide Crows Board of Directors.
Yes, Kim, for the last 12 weeks or so there's been an interim board in place to establish the administration and certainly the team complement of the now Camry Crows as we know them, and I think that the interim board's done a marvellous job in such a short period of time. The league directors, and that represents the clubs of South Australia, now have put in place their permanent board. A number of those appointments will be for 2 years and others for 1-year terms.
So the actual board that were voted in today, they will be the controlling body of the Adelaide Crows?
Yes, the Adelaide Football Club is a body which will take the form of any club as we know it, as far as administration is concerned. As far as the day-to-day decision-making processes are concerned, that'll be done by a board of directors and under the control of the administration team headed by General Manager Bill Sanders.
Okay, well, let's just quickly go through the 7 men that were voted in today, because I think it is important that the South Australian football public are aware of who's controlling the Adelaide Crows and making the decisions. If we have a quick biog on each person that was, or each director that was voted in, firstly with Rick Allett.
Well, Rick is well known in the business world of not only South Australia but Australia-wide. He sits on a number of boards throughout Australia. He's well known in South Australia. He's the chairman of one of our major sponsors, the South Australian Brewing Company. But Rick has been a member of our player retention committee from its inception and is a very strong football man himself.
And a man not unfamiliar to football followers, Bob Hammond.
Well, Bob, I think, has held most positions in the area of football administration, and certainly Bob's expertise as a coach and a football person is recognised throughout Australia. And you might remember or recall the time that he went up and took control of the Sydney Swans at a time of crisis, and Bob certainly brings to the Adelaide Football Club an enormous support, experience and support from the football playing side.
And the other director, or one of the other directors, Adrian Sutter, a former North Adelaide player.
Well, Adrian has certainly stamped himself as a player of some note in his performances with North Adelaide. He is the operations manager of Santos here in South Australia, a very responsible position, and Adrian certainly has worked extremely hard, as the other members of the interim board, to put the Adelaide Footy Club into shape as it is now.
And one of the other initial members was Bob Lee, who has been reappointed.
Yes, well, Bob is the current Vice President of the Australian National Football League and a life member of the league. He's a past player, and certainly football's been very much part of his life over you know, the entire expanse of his involvement.
And a man that was involved with Centrals for a number of years, Robert Zarello.
Yes, Robert, of course, has held many positions in, I suppose, sports administration, the Trotting Association here in South Australia. He's the immediate past president of the Central Districts Football Club, and he certainly will bring a flair to the new board.
And one of the board members that I wasn't aware of was Rex Chidley.
Well, Rex held the position as league director representing the Central Districts Football Club for a number of years, and Rex has been a member of Centrals and held many of the administrative positions out at that club, and he's a very successful businessman in his own right. And I think it's significant, Kim, that there's a good blend of people with commercial backgrounds as well as having a feel and experience in football matters, and I think the board that's been elected tonight certainly will have a good cross-section of expertise to offer the Adelaide Football Club.
Yes, they've certainly been successful in all their careers, and of course the 7th member was Bob Campbell. And those 7 men actually came from 15 different nominations.
Yes, they did, and the league directors made their final decision tonight at the annual general meeting.
Well, I, like many people, Lee, have been at times perhaps a little bit confused about the structure of how the Adelaide Football Club would be run, and perhaps if you can just take us through that, the actual working structure as from the AFL, obviously the controlling body in regards as the Adelaide Crows are concerned, and then if you can just take us down the ladder as we work our way through it.
Sure, Kim. Basically, the South Australian National Football League holds the licence that is the controlling document that is responsible for putting a team into the AFL competition. The Adelaide Football Club is a body now that's been incorporated, and the board will be appointed from time to time by the league. It has the responsibility of conducting the affairs of the club. The club itself has certain obligations to perform by the way of a sub-licence agreement to the SANFL. Probably one of the most important aspects of the Adelaide Football Club in the commercial sense, that 80% of its net surplus is generated back to the SANFL and the clubs for the development of football. I guess in summary, the Adelaide Footy Club, you can regard it as a subsidiary of the SANFL, where the league clubs in effect elect or make the appointments at the end of the day, so that they still retain the control of footballs, and rightly so, in the state at all levels.
Well, hopefully that's cleared up any doubts that anyone had in regards to how the Adelaide Football Club will be run, and we hope to get Lee back a little bit later in the next few weeks just to explain actually where a lot of the revenue will go that the Adelaide Crows do make this year, and hopefully it will be plenty. Thanks very much, Lee, for your time.
Pleasure, Kim. Thank you.
Kim Dillon there, and of course talking to the General Manager, Lee Wicker. We see the start of the third quarter here at Football Park, and no doubt that seven-man board will work extremely hard to make the Adelaide Football Club very, very successful. I must say that I am surprised with one or two names on the board, but be that as it may, it'll certainly be a hard-working board, to say the least. There's the siren to start the third quarter here at Football Park, with the Tigers in front by 6 points. The bounce down, McCarthy with the tap away. In goes Simon Hill. McCulley over the top. Oh, set up Brett Dean, but he did it well, Dean. Took the bump, kicks towards half forward. Off hands, or chance for Moore. May have got a high tackle, and Stephen Moore will take the free kick from the half-back flank out of side. Into the third quarter, the Tigers lead by 6 points. They have the advantage of the slight breeze in this third quarter. Back towards centre wing, off hands. It's all the Eagles here through Neiman. A long kick up towards full forward, looking for Lukosius. Got his hands to the football, couldn't complete the mark. Young Barton comes away with it. Had a pretty good second quarter. Kicks it beautifully to young Simon Hill. Hill now with a chance to put the ball up towards the centre area. Doesn't find his mark in Hallahan. Chigwidden is there. Well, good tackle on that occasion against Pyman. It's now Neiman with the footy. Back towards Maynard. Maynard towards half forward. Lukosius out on the lead. The ball doesn't carry. Lukosius. Handball towards Somerville. Barton. In goes Elias, who's had a pretty good game so far. Hard tackling and holding the ball. Gee whiz. That was quick, but that's the interpretation. And the free kick will be taken by Lukosius.
Well, Lukosius, he's kicked 3 goals won in fact, and he's working hard up forward. There is only 6 points the difference. This will be kick number 5. I would suggest it would be somewhat of a miracle if he could post a goal from there. The breeze will be going from his right to left, and I think he's placed that intelligently. He's put it out towards the head of the square. The mark's not taken. In there working hard, though, was Popplestone, who's onto the ground. Players dive on top. Chigwidden is there. Popplestone back as well, and we'll have a bounce only about 20 metres out. So nearly 2 minutes into this third term, and the Tigers led by 13 points at quarter time. The Eagles managed to peg that back to 6 points at half time, and they're into attack already, and a goal here would be very handy. The handball out from Simons. He's been a valuable player for the Tigers. The captain, Salisbury, trying to work his way through. Barton's been a real goer since coming onto the ground. Chigwidden, the hands were good as he gets it out towards Salisbury. Salisbury in turn puts it up, but it goes straight back towards McCarthy, who's very workmanlike in his approach. He in turn puts it out towards Geyer, and the Eagles go across field through Morford. It wasn't a good kick, but it's put out in front, so that gives plenty of opportunity for Pyman to pick up the footy. It was smothered off the boot. Back towards Somerville. He's very nimble. The pass is short and bullet-like, and well taken by Maxi Maynard.
A little bit quiet to date, Maynard, but nice take. This will be his 4th kick.
Kick number 4, he puts it out wide. Lukosius was the target. He got there late, into the back of his of Christie, it could have been. It was, in fact. Now Salisbury gets the handball out. Chigwidden, the small men, starting to run for the Tigers. Out towards McIntosh. Picks it up on the first bounce, or well anticipated by Chapman. He couldn't take possession, though. Now the handball back out from McIntosh to Simons. He goes towards goal, and he has hit the post. Well, he loves kicking a goal.
Well, he's normally very good on the run as well, and gee, he was only centimetres away from scoring his 2nd.
The kick-off. It's not a good one. Will it go to bounds before it being touched? No, it stays in play, then goes out again. And what's the decision? It's been touched, so a throw-in will take place. Game of footy here at headquarters, with the Tigers in front by 7 points. Throw in, McCarthy in front. Over the top, Stewie McCulley. Kick by Maynard, back towards centre wing. Russell, Chigwidden, back to Hill. He's been a pretty good player for the Tigers. Lamb thought about the handball, then goes on to the left, but he'll drop it into the square. Players working hard. Over the top went Thornborough. Popplestone from the back pocket has a bounce. Robbie Popplestone on the game for the first time in this third quarter. Pays. And in fact, the kick is accurate and finds Matthew James. Matthew James onto Maynard. Maynard towards full forward. Lukosius is there. Can't take the mark. Has a chance to recover. Does so. this way, that way, tackled, handball to Somerville. Somerville kicks, but it's not accurate. It'll lob into the square. Back there was Wiedemann, couldn't take the mark, and it's through for a minor score. Only the Eagles 5-5-35, the Tigers 6-5.
Well, I don't know what, he must be a Glenelg supporter clapping like that, because that was a comedy of errors. Young Matthew James on the ground. First game, 18 years of age. He was a West Torrens junior.
Pyman up high, so too McCulley. The ball out wide now. Simon Hill puts it out towards Salisbury. Took his time and he paid the penalty. Great pressure there by Craig Somerville. And the free kick will be taken by Stephen Geyer. So it'll be just taking too long to get that kick away. And Somerville is very quick. Geyer puts it up high. The Eagles are in with a chance tonight, and they need a victory to lift the morale. They haven't performed all that well, certainly not against West Adelaide or South Adelaide, as Clem applies the tackle. In there is Somerville once more. They'll try and tap the ball out. It's virtually thrown out by Pyman. It goes to Elias, out towards Simon Hill, and I agree with Ken's comment earlier. He is a pretty good player. And in coming in late with a tackle was Stephen Moore on Simon Hill, but no damage done. Geyer uses his pace. Jamison tried to smother the kick. The ball falls short, and the mark has been taken back there by Duthie. Let's see if the Eagles can pick up in defence. Duthie quick to get on with the job. Puts it out wide. The target in the front position was Lamb. He couldn't get there. Taking an absolute age to get back there is Garth Newton. He's no sprinter, but he got the football and he dispatched of it neatly. And he found a teammate in O'Dwyer who did well to pirouette out of trouble. Simon Hill back there. Pyman likewise. Going in strongly is Pyman. Hallahan picks it up, tried to crash his way through. He throws it back out towards Stephen Moore. Hooks it around his body. He's picked up a few possessions, Moore. That wasn't one of his better ones. It's gone straight to McKay. It does look a very likely tie, very athletically built.
And the Eagles' defence standing up pretty well. Moore, O'Dwyer, Morford and Guy doing a pretty good job. And they've been under a lot of pressure tonight, Ken.
Yes, they have, Neville, as we see Neiman with the football. Undecided where to go. Good on your rock. Back towards centre wing it goes. That's back there. It was Neiman. It was Newton before. Neiman now with the footy. That's centre wing. Mark number 5. Pays. Simon's working hard. And the umpire will call for a bounce. 6.5 minutes into the third quarter. 6-5 the Tigers. The Eagles 5-5. Game coming to you on 9's Wide World of Sports from Footy Park. The bounce. Chance now for Hallahan. Raises the eyes, kicks back towards centre wing, but it's all the Eagles here. Newton is there. Takes possession. A shocking handball intercepted by Hill. McIntosh. Chapman also there. Wall doesn't like the attention, and that was a bit silly by Chapman. Well, Chapman started that. It was foolish play. The tackle was okay, and he didn't like it. Umpire Elliott in there. No harm done, bit of pushing and shoving. And umpire Elliott will have a bounce, will he? Calm things down.
And pushing and shoving just about sums it up. Nothing serious there, Ken.
Not a good handball by Garth Newton. He handballed that right into the snorkel of young Simon Hill. It was a very poor piece of play. He tried to redeem himself there. Salisbury picks it up. Handballs out to the open spaces. It's picked up by Simons. Hooked one around his body. Nearly found Chigwidden. Now back there is Morford paddling it forward. Geyer there over the top Chigwidden. This will be a dead heat, as players are desperate to try and extract that ball from the pack. Umpires officiating tonight, Tony Checker and David Elliott. And that is David Elliott about to bounce the ball now. We've had just over 8 minutes of the third term as Morford gets the handball out towards Pyman. He goes back towards Chapman. Chapman on the right boot, spears out a pass. Oh, good anticipation by Somerville. Oh, he fell over. He managed to tap it out towards Clem, so it was great presence of mind. Now in turn out to Pays, obviously playing out of a forward pocket. He may even be roving now. He paddles it out forward towards Neiman. Will it sit? It does. The handball is good. Out to the new boy in James, and he kicks a goal.
A dream start for young Matthew James, his second kick in league football. He's kicked a goal. Let's watch how he did it. Beautifully taken by Pays. Played the first half on a half-back flank. Seems to be in more familiar territory now. It was Neiman who finally got the ball to sit. He was under pressure. James, looks like an athletic type, had no problems, didn't panic in front of goals, and managed to kick his first very easily. There he is on the screen. Scores
tied away into the third quarter by 9 minutes. 6-5 apiece. Back with umpire Elliott, McCulley and Newton. McCulley with a tap. Goes in and after a gain. Full Wiedemann in there. Taken by Salisbury. Around his body, back towards centre half forward it goes, off hands. Rod Jamison comes out, up towards half forward and finds Thornborough. Young promising player, over towards Simons, in stride, goes back towards Wayne Thornborough. He should have a shot for goal here. He's a long kicker of the football. The kick is long. Is it accurate? I think it is. Great goal of the Bay youngster.
Second kick, second goal to Wayne Thornborough. He kicked one in the second quarter. Let's have a look at it. He gave it off to Simons, still around the area, and from 45 metres he let fly. It was a good piece of play as he stayed in the play to back up, and you can't do much more than that. He wouldn't be happy with the amount of kicks he's had to date, only 2, but his conversion has been absolutely perfect. Wayne Thornborough, number 22.
Glenelg 7-5-47, the Eagles 6-5-41, back centre field. And only 6 points in this game, so the Eagles are hanging in there. And they're showing a great deal of desperation. Newton up high, won the tap, but Christie gets the second tap away. Chigwin underneath that. Chapman tried to get a handball out. Seabourn went through solidly. Popplestone was hit high, and he'll receive a free kick. The former Sturt player, I suppose I can say the former Eagles player to a certain extent, puts the ball out wide. Well, in fact, courtesy of a handball, it ended up out wide. Now it's taken by Simons. Looking very composed and in control. It's a long handball over towards Hallahan. Hallahan puts it up high. Players set themselves. Salisbury was back into the pack. He did well then. Looked a certain Eagles mark. Now Wiedemann, another handball out to James. Great evasive skills. He's down the ground. He want to flick it out. Does so. Wiedemann, Salisbury. They won't go on with it. Both thought better of it. Imagine being between those two. And Lukosius takes the mark. It was kicked 3-1. I doubt if he could kick this Ken into the breeze. He's just outside 50. And back there is Pays, so there's not a lot of height. To take his best kick, he's given it a ride too, but it'll fall short. Players set themselves. Russell from behind with the spoil. Now the ball pushed towards the boundary line, and we'll have it thrown in that right forward pocket.
And David Neiman appeared to be the only player really that touched the ball then, and very nearly completed the mark. There he is in your screen. He'll do the ruck work, playing at centre half forward. He'll compete against Gary Christie.
Glenelg lead by 6 points into the third quarter, almost by 12 minutes. Andrew Mackay working hard, but the ball is forced out of play. Pretty good first half, Mackay. He really did. Very good first half. And don't forget, of course, on Wednesday at 1 a.m, the one-day international. Live from Jamaica on Nine's Wide World of Sports between Australia and the West Indies. And highlights at 5 o'clock. Pays with an opportunity now for the Eagles. I think he's just offline. He is, but a lot of desperation about the Eagles at the moment. The Eagles go to 6-6, trail the Tigers 7-5.
We've got a lot more of the play at the moment, Ken, and they look a lot better than they did in that first part of this game, where they were very, very reticent indeed.
Wiedemann with a chance. Back towards the forward pocket. Lukosius on the lead, but the ball will beat that player out of play, almost in front of the scoreboard here in headquarters. Glenelg 7-5, the Eagles are 6-6. 5 points the difference. A balmy night here at Footy Park. Been a pretty warm day. A good night for watching footy. And the free kick has been paid. It'll go the way of Andrew Mackay from the back pocket. Superb game of football. Back towards centre wing. Newton went up high, but didn't take the footy. Simons over the top to Dean is not a good handball. Back to Simons was a good bit of work by young Dean. Simons now up towards full forward, put in front, almost to mark the Thornborough. Taken by Lamb. Did he have the football? No, he didn't. And he'll get a free kick, Clayton Lamb, from about 25 metres from goal.
Well, it's a bit of experience, and he smiles about it. I very nearly thought that he should have been penalised for holding the ball in that instance, because he sort of took possession of the ball and let it go straight away. But the mistake was made by Garth Newton further down the ground when he completely missed the ball, and it went to a pack of Glenelg players behind the pack. He really should have been able to punch that forward.
Kick number 7 for Clayton Lamb, directly in front. Shouldn't miss from here. He hasn't. The Bay's 8 goals.
And Clayton Lamb kicks his second, had one in the second quarter, kicked a point as well. There he is in your screen, being held onto there. That's very clear. He was held onto by Moore. But a bit earlier, only seconds in that clip, I thought that he may have actually just taken the ball and dropped it. He's a very accurate shot at goal. He's a brilliant player, a good player in the forward line, making the most of his opportunities. because he's looking for form for the Adelaide Crows.
Welcome back. We're live at Football Park. 53 points opposed to 42. Back centre field. Let's see if the Eagles can reply into the breeze. By rights, the Tigers would like to be leading by at least 3 or 4 at the end of this third quarter, which we've had 14.5 minutes of. The ball is pushed forward. A free kick's been picked out for a push, and it will go the way of Gary Christie. Now, Gary Christie can kick a long ball if he so elects to do so, and he does. He puts it out wide. The fist from behind by O'Dwyer. He's been pretty steady. Well taken by Hallahan. Tried to hook it back around his body. Underneath it there was Morfitt. So too Lamb. McIntosh takes it. Gets the kick away. One-on-one battle there. The ball tapped down. Picked up nicely by Somerville. That was good work. So too by O'Dwyer. Now Graham. That's better work by the Eagles. Pyman, as long as he doesn't lose it. Not sure which way to go. Charged his arm and he managed to get out of that quite well, albeit a little dangerously. Taken by Brett Dean. And perhaps we'll just keep an eye on that. Young James may be playing in the centre. It's a big occasion for him in his first league game. There's a strong mark he's taken there by McCarthy. And won the Brawn Man of the Match on a few occasions last year, Neville. And he's got a heart as big as himself. He works hard and he thinks about his football.
This is a big man that Neil Balme will be relying on, along with Garth Newton and young Lukosius. If he can get those big men firing, it'll make a lot of difference to this Eagles side.
Wiedemann to Clem, then on to James. The Eagles go forward again. Lukosius, he's not the quickest man on 2 legs, but he's harassing Elias well, but he still gets the handball out towards Doofy. Doofy lifts the eyes, puts it out to Hallahan. This is where they're breaking down the Eagles, because the Tigers have loose players everywhere, and they're not putting pressure on the player that brings the ball up forward, and that allowed Thornborough to take an easy mark.
Every time the Glenelg side go forward, Kim, they're just a little bit more organised, using the ball well by comparison to the Eagles, who have slipped back a little bit again. And just that little contest between Lukosius and Elias, running around the player, really the thing to do in that situation is to actually get your hands on the ball and get under his legs.
12 scoring shots, the Eagles, 13 for the Tigers. 3 kicks, 3 goals to Thornborough.
There's value for kicks from Wayne Thornborough. Simons always uses the ball, and whenever he has it, you can guarantee the next player in line will more than likely be wearing a Tiger jumper. Have a look at that for a pass. There is absolutely nothing opposition can do about that. And watch him in your screen. He's just a smidgen unorthodox, but he gets the ball off to a long length. He is very accurate, and with 3 kicks and 3 goals, Kim Hodgman will be very pleased with him.
Glenelg 9-5, the Eagles 6-6 into the third quarter by 17 minutes. McKay, Wiedemann working hard. But umpire Checker will call for a bounce. Umpire Tony Checker, no, I don't think the road's got to work out his nickname, Tony Checker.
He sets a great example, Wayne Wiedemann, Ken, doesn't he? I mean, he's always in at the ball, and players on the Eagles side would do well to follow his example.
Yes, doesn't lack any courage, Rocky, that's for sure. As we see Seabone onto the left boot, met by Wiedemann, which was stupid. And that was silly football. He's put Seabone down, and as a consequence, he's been penalised a fouling after disposal. Silly free kick.
That's not the example that I was actually talking about. There he is in your screen. He's a pretty mean customer, normally straight at the ball, but on that occasion he put the player down. He was caught. I guess that's his biggest mistake.
Hill takes the free kick. He puts the kick into the square, but a good mark by McCarthy. Gee whiz, this kid impresses me. He goes over towards Geyer. Geyer from the back pocket. A consistent performer for the Eagles. Back towards centre wing. Graham in front. Popplestone works hard. That's good work by Popplestone. Picked it up cleverly. Got it out to Graham. It's good football by Robbie Popplestone. Up towards half forward. Neiman there. Can he take the mark? No, he can't. The ball is forced out of play in front of the scoreboard.
They need him to make more of opportunities, and we saw in that last part of the first half when David Neiman got into the game, and even if he brings the ball to ground in the central part of half forward and gets the crummers underneath him, he can be a valuable player doing that.
Well, he's taken front position against Christie, 59 points opposed to 42. Christie won the tap, not all that convincingly. Neiman in there tried to handball it out, and Chicky nearly lost his head. In there working hard is Colby, who kicked the first goal of the game for the Eagles. In fact, it was the only goal they kicked in the... No, they kicked 2 in the first term. I apologise. Lukosius kicked the second one. And we see Andrew Pays, number 7 for the Eagles. And he started on a half-back flank, rather strangely, and now appears to be playing out of a forward pocket. Down towards Colby, but the ball just out of play. Just past the 19-minute mark, 9-5 opposed to 6-6.
There's the Tiger bench all waiting anxiously. for their chance, but an important time for the Eagles. They really can't afford Glenelg to get any further of a break. In fact, they really need to close it to set themselves for a competitive final quarter.
The handball out towards Salisbury. He did likewise, trying to get it to Barton. Number of players there fighting for the ball. Pays is in there, pushing it out is Somerville. Taken by Barton. He gets the kick away, goes out towards Pyman. Great battle here, 1-on-1. Now it's 2-on-2. Very even contest. The handball goes out towards Heel, and the Tigers may win this, and rather convincingly. It goes out to Deanock. Quick hands to Hallahan. Great take, Hallahan. Now out towards Chigwin. There was some great reflex football there. Chiggy spears out a pass, and Thornborough now has an opportunity to kick his fourth.
And the fact that Thornborough has been on the end of 2 or 3 kicks is no accident. As I've mentioned before, he's able to look at the player coming down the ground, time his lead, and lead at the perfect time when the player looks up. He's on the end of it. He has 3 goals from 3 kicks.
Let's see if he can keep that unblemished strike rate. Well, it was a big ask. He's kicked 3-1, and Lukosius did likewise. He had a chance to kick 4 out of 4. They both had 3-1 apiece.
A 75% conversion. He wouldn't be unhappy with that. But for the Eagles, it's a case of lifting their rating, and you might have just noticed at home the last 20 or 30 seconds of play there was really competitive. The Eagles lifted their rating, hoping to get a goal there, and it would be a valuable thing if they could do it just a little bit more often.
Pyman back towards centre wing. Neiman almost the mark. Morfitt pulled off the football. Chiggy goes in. The blonde-haired Glenelg drove it towards half forward. Not well put. McCarthy does it very, very coolly, very calmly, as Rocky said, and Kim said it workmanlike type of performance by this youngster. The handball's loose. In goes Jamison with great aggression. He'll steady from outside the 50. Puts it out in front of Wayne Thornborough. He can't take the mark. Over the top of O'Dwyer. Chapman goes back in there. So is McIntosh for the Bays. Thornborough again. Chapman goes in. Skids across the ball. Trying to force it out of play. In fact, he has done so. And the ball will go out of play. In the full forward pocket for the Tigers.
And Thornborough showing great recovery then. It was, I don't really know how a big man can actually recover, get back to the ball before the Crummers do. And the Eagles want to look at that.
Thornborough, McCarthy, 2 youngsters. Moore, the hurried kick away. McIntosh with an opportunity now for Glenelg. Oh, the kick is smothered. That's not good work by young McIntosh. Salisbury's in there. Oh, Chapman caught one high. In fact, he's been given a free kick for legging. Take your pick. He's got the foot. Important thing.
Recruited from Whyalla, played his first senior game at the age of about the tender age of about 16. Now a mark taken by Christie. So young McCarthy for the Eagles, he's had a bit to contend with tonight as Russell puts it forward. Christie with height and experience. Also now Thornborough back there. And the Tigers with far more height around the ground. Morfitt took a good mark. It's out towards Moore. Smothered from behind. He didn't anticipate what was about to happen. But Pyman certainly did. He grabbed that ball nicely and chips out a pass to Jeffrey Graham. Unobtrusive type of player. Has some ability. Graham puts it in long. Kick number 8. Neiman's the target. Had hands to it once more. Couldn't take it. Still paddling it forward, though. Going through strongly there is McKay. We mentioned it before, but he looks like being a good type. He goes all right, does McKay. Now it's Simons as he hooks around his body. Finds Chigwin, who always works hard. Drives it in long. It's a very long kick, but it's not accurate, and it's through for a point. So only about a minute remaining here at the most in this third quarter.
And at the centre half forward position, David Neiman did what we talked about earlier, Ken. He competed for the ball, he brought it to ground, but the Eagles didn't have any takers, any Crummers in position. That's all he can do, and the Tigers ran it away, nearly kicked a goal.
I'll be surprised if this young man's not added to the list of the Crows. 7 marks to the youngster, and I'll be dumbfounded if he's not added to the Crows list. As umpire Elliott comes in, and the Maxine handball play over his mark. And there's the siren at 3/4 time as we see Glenelg in front by 19 points on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
And Glenelg used the ball a lot better when they had it. They were very definite when they went into their forward line. Young Wayne Thornborough has kicked 3 goals from 4 shots to that quarter. He was a star for them. And the Eagles a bit disruptive in their concentration. They had plenty of the ball at half forward and full forward, unable to convert.
So at 3/4 time, Glenelg leading 9 goals 7 opposed to the Eagles 6 goals 6. We'll be back with the last quarter shortly. You're live on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Three-quarter time here at Football Park in the Foundation Cup between the Tigers and the Eagles, and the Tigers lead 9-7 against the Eagles 6-6, a margin of 19 points. Among goal scorers for the Tigers, young Wayne Thornborough has kicked 3, Lamb 2, and for the Eagles, Lukosius has booted 3. And David Mackay, the Eagles have had a lot of the play, but as Rocky said, they can't finish their work off.
Quite right, Ken. They had use of the breeze that term, and they were only 6 points down at half-time. They now trail by 19 points, and I think Neil Baum might rue that quarter as the quarter that maybe cost him the game.
And I just looking at the stats, of course, the Bays won the ball out of the centre on most occasions in that third quarter.
Well, I think that would have been Nick Chigwood, the dominator in that term, KG. He's really back to something like his best form. We saw it perhaps 2 years ago, and then he seemed to drift out last season. He didn't have a big year, but he's another one of Glenelg's players that really has revelled in the extra responsibility.
Gee, David, we've seen some exciting youngsters here tonight. Young Simon Hill for the Bays, Wayne Thornborough for the Bays, McIntosh and McCarthy for the Eagles.
Well, we keep talking about Stephen, David Kernahan, Tony Hall, guys like that, and Glenelg really have a magnificent junior program. No doubt that Simon Hill's come up through that program. Thornborough has, I mentioned him earlier. He's a star of the future, that young man, and he needs to just bulk up a little bit and get a little bit stronger, and nobody will shift him off a ball. Simon Hill plays very much like a young Tony McGuinness, and he has enormous pace and very good skills.
What about the other boy, McCarthy? We've seen him on, 2 or 3 occasions now, and I made the point during the call that I'll be surprised if the Crows don't add him to their squad.
Well, I remember a game here where the Eagles played the Crows reserves, and he dominated that game, was a very good player, and I'm sure he would have brought himself under Graham Corns' notice in that match, and I'm sure he'd be one of the players that they're just keeping their eye on.
And David, in the early part of the game, Big Neil Baum, the coach of the Eagles, experimented to a degree. He had Pays in defence, Clem in the middle. How did you see those sort of changes?
New coach has to do that, and let's be fair, these are the games that Neil Baum can experiment in. He can't go into a season and still be experimenting, and he just had a look at Pays there, because Pays really has increased fitness this year, and maybe just an attacking half-back flanker was what Neil Baum was looking for. Didn't eventuate. So Pays goes back to the wing. He knows how to play that position, but Neil Baum at least knows what his options are during the year.
Yeah, I think Neil Baum would be pleased since quarter time. I think the Eagles have shown the endeavour, the aggression and the attack on the ball, but they sadly haven't finished their work off. But I thought the first quarter they were a little bit lax.
Well, KG, we mentioned they had no team play at all in the first term, and as this game's gone on, okay, they're down on the scoreboard, but one of the things that has started to emerge is they're starting to get a team pattern developing. They're working with each other, and they're 19 points down, but I think the thing that he'll be most pleased with is the fact that there is a team play and a team game starting to develop.
And your DB, David Mackay on the boundary. Let's now take you back for the final term to your commentator, Kim Dillon.
Thanks very much, Ken and David. And it's the Tigers by 19 points. They've led from go to away virtually in this game. 13 points at quarter time, 6 points at half time, and now lead by 19 points. Back centre field, umpires Tony Checker and David Elliott. Let's see if the Eagles can get out of this. 19 points is not a lot. They do have what breeze is here at Football Park, but I must admit it has subsided somewhat since the start of the game. Garth Newton up high, won the tap. It's tapped forward by Neiman. Backpedaling into the pack there was Colby. Clem there looking for the crumbs, hocking in after it. Wiedemann likewise, out to Chapman. He'll have to be quick. He gets a kick away. Play on the call, not 10 metres. This will be nearly holding the ball. Managed to get the handball out. Now Lamb gets a kick. Graham tried to lean forward and grab it. Beautifully rowed by Hallahan. Out to Salisbury. Opportunity here for Big Thornborough. Punch for. He's too tall. Too strong. And Des O'Dwyer was having quite a comfortable night until this lad entered the arena.
Well, the kick in wasn't really a comfortable kick for Thornborough, but Des O'Dwyer was caught under the ball with him. You can see there he was right with him from start to finish. He would have much preferred to have a run in. And Wayne Thornborough has 3 goals from 4 shots, a good conversion rate.
Yes, he's taken 5 marks, and he has missed that, so that's disappointing for the youngster. And I mentioned before, Neville, about Des O'Dwyer. Well, he started off on Clayton Land, kept him goalless. Then he was opposed to young Jared Hocking, kept him goalless. And before you know it, he's had 3 kicked on him. It should have been 5.
Indeed, he has. And for Wayne Thornborough, he kicked his first 3 and he's missed his last 2 shots, but he's certainly proving a headache for the Eagles in their defence.
Free kick has been paid to Matthew James on the half-back flank for the Eagles. Back towards centre wing it goes. Off hands, a chance for Tony Simons. Back towards centre wing, Chigwood, who had a very good third quarter. The ball out of the centre on a number of occasions for the Tigers. Back towards centre, half forward it goes. Up one hand, and a good mark in the end was taken by Garth Newton. He goes across the face of goals out towards Chapman. He'll run the ball out of defence. Raises the eyes, goes towards centre wing. Not a good kick again by Chapman. Out towards centre wing, thumped on by Pyman. Can he keep the ball in play? Hocking with a chance, but the ball beats that player out of play. Half forward right. We played 2 minutes into the final term.
62 points opposed to 42, so they've stretched out that lead to 20 points now, courtesy of that point from Thornborough. Now Neiman using his body strength then. On the ground is McKay. Playing the tackle is Maynard. We haven't seen a lot of him tonight, nor this man back to Pays. Pays curls it around his body. Lukosius underneath it. Elias back there. And he concedes the point. It was always on, wasn't it? He had 2 options, and as it was, I think that was perhaps the best one.
He looked like a party goer at a 7-year-old's party with the stop the music. He certainly got back into his spot pretty quickly.
Yeah, good comment, Nev. It's now taken by Clayton Lamb. He plays on quickly. No disrespect. The kick forward by Duthie.
I didn't take any.
And now Hallahan, have a look at his attack on the ball. He is a very desperate footballer. Lamb starting to pick up touches now. It's a nice long looking kick. Underneath it back there is Moore. He did well. Opposed there. The handball out is very quick by Kretschmer onto the ground. In fact, he may have came on late in that 3rd quarter. Now in turn Seabohm to Chig Whidden. He puts it out wide. Thornborough will still get there. Great spoil by O'Dwyer, now taken by Stephen Moore, and the pass is short and finds Pyman. And gee, Ken, I thought Thornborough had that covered, but O'Dwyer's fist came from nowhere.
Oh, he's a class player, O'Dwyer. As the ball is thumped away, taken by young Kretschmer. Back into the pocket it goes. Oh, good mark to Thornborough. This kid's got a lot of promise. Wayne Thornborough. He's tall, he's strong, he's athletic, and he can kick a long ball. Thornborough. You can bet your bottom socks the AFL scouts will be watching this young man over the next couple of years. He's kicked 3 goals. That's at the moratorium last 2 years. Thornborough kicks. A wobbly one up towards full forward. Simons is there. Couldn't complete the mark. The ball's out of play in the full pocket. In the full forward pocket for the Tigers. 4 minutes into the final term.
You don't think the moratorium will, as we look at the Eagles bench, Ken, last 2 years?
No, I don't, Rocky. I think it'll be lucky to last 1 season.
The national draft coming into place will certainly put a lot of pressure on our kids over the next 5 and 10 years.
Talking of kids, Brett Dean with the ball. He served his apprenticeship through the 2s over the last few years, and he looks set to have a big year. He's a talented player.
I'll rephrase that, Rocky. It would depend largely on how the Crows go in their first year. If they have a good year, the moratorium, I think, will be cut back to 1 year.
Well, that's Neil Barham on your screen with his assistant coach Bruce Winner, but the arrangement with the AFL is that the moratorium will be in place 2 years, but in terms of their 52-man squad, Ken, they will be told at the end of this season whether or not they can interchange players out of our local competition with it. And I wouldn't hesitate to suggest that if there's a lot of good youngsters in our local competition, I'll say no.
They play it hard. 5 minutes into the final term, 62 points opposed to 43. And Newton passes the ball down, and it's taken by Pays. Pays puts it up high, Hocking underneath it, couldn't control it. Recovers well, though. The handball now goes out towards Jamison. His handball was smothered. He gets a second opportunity. In there, make that a 3rd opportunity. He might have another crack at it now. That's opportunity number 4. It's intercepted by Maynard. Now the 5th opportunity to Jamison. This time he gets it right out to McKay, and Christie gets the kick away. Well, 10 out of 10 for perseverance as the mark is taken by Seabohm. Now he should get it in quickly to Thornborough, 1-on-1, but he elects to go out wide to Heel. Heel lines up the goals. Well, it might have been 6-1. Oh, great mark! Well, I'm not sure. I'll let our expert comments man Neville Roberts judge that one. I thought he was going for goal, but he may have placed that to Thornborough.
Well, it doesn't really matter at the end result. We'll probably never know the answer to it. The fact that it was taken so close to goal, I assume he was actually having a shot. Thornborough no trouble from 5 metres. Well, you can't do much more than that. Since half-time, he's kicked 4 goals 2 in fact, and he's been a real nuisance for the Eagles up forward. Des O'Dwyer's had a nightmare period on him. Very quiet up until half-time, hardly had a touch. And Thornborough has been in everything since. It's been the difference in the 2 sides since half-time. So, a great half from Thornborough.
The Tigers 10-8 lead the Eagles 6-7, and we've played 6.5 minutes into the final quarter here at Football Park on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Balmy night, good night for footy, and the Tigers in control at the moment. Newton with a tap away. Part from Wiedemann through his legs, back to Wiedemann. over the top to McKay, arguably the best player on the ground. He goes out to young Barton. Barton back into trouble. Gets a kick back towards centre wing. Graham back there, almost a one-handed mark to Seabone. Chapman. Handballs off towards Geyer. Geyer back towards centre wing. Popplestone is there, over the top, and Popplestone takes the mark. Plays on quickly, towards half-forward he goes. It's Christie back here with a sit. Can he take the mark? Yes, he can. And Gary Christie will mark. Outside 50 on the defensive line.
And the Bays have got control of this game at the moment. It is a critical period. The Eagles need to score goals right now or it's all over for them this game.
The ball now with Jared Hocking, and Christie just popping over a short pass, and they've gone directly across ground. They've had, that's the third kick, and they'll get 50 metres now, so they will go a little further down the ground. That was very indirect football. They have possession, and as I just mentioned, 50 metres as well. Now Elias should bring the ball right up to the centre half forward area. Gee, 50 metres, it's a long way on a football field. You really can't afford to give those type of free kicks away flippantly, as the ball is punched down by O'Dwyer. It's picked up by McIntosh. He's in trouble. He drops it, gets the handball away again. In there is Salisbury. The ball is held to a West Torrens player and will have a bounce at the 8-minute mark of this final term. An Eagles player, I should say. Caught me again. I think that's only twice tonight. Old habits die hard, and certainly no disrespect to Woodville supporters. And I'll get it right sooner or later as Hallahan. Gee, he's done a lot of hard work around the packs. Got that kick away. Now out there using his pace is Chigwidden. The handball went, well, I don't know if he really should have given it then. I don't think the youngster in Kretschmer was really after it. And Torrens get out of trouble through Stephen Moore. It's a long kick, but this is the advantage that Glenelg have had tonight. Their big men have read the play superbly. Christie takes it, gives it to Simons. Let's see how it bounces. A nasty one for Hallahan to control, but he's kept the ball in front, and that's an object lesson to youngsters as he feeds it out to Hocking, who puts it right in the waiting hands back there of McCarthy, who has played a fine game.
They're still in the game, the Eagles, and only from a bit of luck on that occasion. Another goal from Glenelg might have put this game out of reach. They really need to lift their rating at the moment. Glenelg well and truly in control.
Dean, good work by Heel, gives the ball to Dean. Dean into Wayne Thornborough, over that player's head. McCarthy will mop up for the Eagles. Across goal is dangerous. It found Payes, and that's a shocking handball by Payes. Back to Simons. Has Simon kicked it? No, he hasn't. Into the square, McCarthy. Oh, missed another bad handball. And it's forced through for a point. And the Eagles, well, certainly a couple of unforced errors.
Well, that's Pussycat's about as asleep as some of those Eagles players at the moment. Those mistakes are unmentionable, and Neil Barn would be beside himself at the moment on the bench, I would think.
Yeah, well, obviously, nobody needs me to tell them that some of these mistakes have been woeful, but I would say there's an obvious instruction to play on at all costs, because they're just suicidal, some of these handballs, especially in the last line of defence, as Payes puts one out straight to Simons. He's determined to give Tony Simons a few touches tonight, and he's done a pretty good job so far. Simons picks up another one. Hasn't been a big night for Andy Payes, but he's no halfback flanker, that's for sure. The wing's his position. He plays it well as Hocking puts the ball in long. Now players set themselves up. Big lead. Great mark there by the youngster in Kretschmer. Dwayne Kretschmer.
Originally from Mount Gambier. Have a look at it in replay. He came from behind. He took the running. It was a beautiful take. Good hands by the youngster. Played a couple of games for the Fitzroy reserves, and he's got a bloodied mouth at the moment. Probably hit the back of someone's head going for that mark, I would think. And he also played games in the Fitzroy under-19 underage.
Yes, that won't bother him after a grab like that. It looks like a broken nose, or a blood nose at least, which is obvious, but it's only a point. And yes,
quite often they look a lot worse than they are when you get cut around the lip or face. It does bleed profusely, but quite often it's from a very small nick, more than not.
And then I'm sitting in the grandstand as we see young James take the mark. That's Matthew James. It's a terrible kick. It's a hospital ball. Hallahan under it, and he'll take the mark. A pretty useful game tonight for the Bays. Over to Jamison. He's been quiet to Dean. Dean from the 70 metres. Back to Simons. Back to Brett Dean. Still from 70 metres. Will put it into the square. Pushing and shoving back there. Almost a free kick to McCarthy. But he goes to safety of a minor score. And the Tigers now go to 10-11-71. Eagles 6-7-43, and the Tigers are playing a far better brand of football.
Indeed they are, and just failure with the basics is destroying the Eagles at the moment. They've certainly got their amount of the ball, their fair share of it, but just when they have it, their movement of it is inaccurate, As I said, failure with the basics is undoing them time and time again.
Jeffrey Graham's handball was good to find pace. He lifts the eyes, puts it in long towards centre-half forward. Neiman getting back there, didn't take the mark. Great work by Tony Simons to use his body. It was courageous play, and the hands were very good then to put it out towards Barton. Here he plays Bromelo in the first quarter, and that kick is very good to find Lamb. And that's the type of things that Clayton Lamb does all the time. Not so much that passage of play, but very good with his evasive skills. And, well, perhaps they're just relaxing a little bit, the Tigers. They do have this game won as the ball is put out towards James. Matthew James. His kick and turn finds Popplestone. He puts it out wide, looking for Somerville. Has plenty of pace. Should be too quick for Simons and Barton. Close to the boundary line, taps it back, keeps it in play. Needs support, none forthcoming. Simons, quick hands again. Back towards Duthie. Duthie to Barton. Oh, Clem into the back of Barton, and gee, he rode him like a horse. And Michael Barton receives the free kick.
Apart from the crude tackle, the Eagles there gave no support to Somerville. Nobody ran the 30 metres to do it, and that is the failure with the basics.
The ball is put up high, underneath it Christie, well fisted away by McCarthy. I can't help but comment on his professional approach to the game. Picked up by Geyer, out towards Morford. Morford drives it in long. Lukosius thrown out of it by Elias, and well, no free kick. I swear Neville, he grabbed him and threw him out of the way.
Well, the only mistake you make in those situations is getting caught. On that occasion, Elias judged it all pretty well.
And the mark has been taken by Chapman. Puts the handball up high. Now just inside 50, unprotected goal. Graham lets fly, but inaccurate once more, the Eagles. They move along to 6-8, Glenelg 10-11.
As I said earlier, having their share of kicks and forward thrusts, Graham on that occasion, really not a difficult shot at goal. He'd be disappointed with that.
The kick-off goes to Simons. Simons to the outer side. A good mark out there. To Christie, to Heel. Not a good kick. Back towards Morford. A long handball to Pyman. Back towards Maynard, a former Glenelg player. Has been very quiet tonight, Peter Maynard, by his standards. And that's a poor kick, goes the way of Barton, who hasn't played a bad game tonight, young Barton, since coming onto the ground. Back towards centre wing. Chig Whitten in front of the big pack. Off hands it goes to Hallahan. Hallahan back to Salisbury. His kick is smothered by Wiedemann, two tough men. Wiedemann does it well from 15 metres up towards goal. That's skills galore by Wiedemann, his second goal.
Well, he was offline earlier in the evening, and on this occasion, from the last occasion, in fact, from a set shot, Wiedemann had no trouble at all posting his first goal in the second quarter. Let's have a look at him. A turn of pace for the big fella. He looks a little slimmer this season, probably his summer with the Crows. On that occasion, running straight at goal, where he's failed most of the evening. He was on line to kick his second.
The Eagles lead by, in fact, they trail by 21 points. There is still time. 15 minutes into the final term. And we've got about 8 minutes remaining in this game, and it's not impossible. 4 quick goals, but they're just not using the ball well enough. At three-quarter time, the Tigers had only 5 more possessions than West Torrens, but by gee, they used the ball a lot better. Out of defence, the ball is put in wide, looking for Pyman. In fact, Popplestone, he was held, and that was seen by the umpire. But Pyman will go back. Popplestone, I should say. I'll get that right. Oh, and there's a good mark taken by Morford. He's been a quiet player. The handball out. Now, Morford's lost his pants. He's playing in his jockettes at the moment. So that may be a highlight for some here at Football Park. Now the handball from Chapman out towards Somerville. Let's see if another goal arrives here. Wiedemann is out there, but the kick not well dispatched again, and it's taken by Jamison, who in turn puts it out wide. Gives an opportunity for Hill. Out there is Darren Grant onto the ground for the first time, dives onto the ball with desperation. That's Pyman out there, taps it back towards Heel. He farms out a handball to find Seabohm. Seabohm in turn puts it up looking for Thornborough. Good spoil by O'Dwyer. Taken by Geyer, back to O'Dwyer, over the top, searching there for Moore. Stephen Moore picks it up. We had Chapman to handball too, but that was a better option, the long kick to Colby. Colby in turn centres the ball. Now Clem's underneath this. He should stay down for the crumbs, does so, but it's an effective spoil by Duthie. Now the handball, it's well taken by McKay. He does have a touch of class. Simons, he'd be up there for one of the best players on the ground. He puts it up to Hallahan, who's worked very hard. Short pass into Lamb, and that's what happens when you transfer the ball out so quickly.
The movement of the ball from the Tigers has been very good all night. They've been exact. They haven't missed the body with their disposal very often. By contrast, the Eagles have been pretty poor with their hand and foot skills.
Clayton Lamb from 50 metres out. Let's fly. Prodigious left foot kick, but he's just dragged that one across his body. And Glenelg move along. In fact, no score at all. They stay on 10-11. Eagles 7-8.
The kick in comes away with Pays. Pays goes short to Popplestone as Donovan comes onto the ground to replace Tony Simons. Popplestone into the centre of the ground it goes. Dean's in front. Oh, he'll get a free kick. He's got it. No, he doesn't. I thought he should have. Up towards centre half forward by Barton. Off the ground towards McIntosh working hard, but the handball straight to Stephen Moore. Stephen Moore to Pyman, to Hannam, towards centre wing. Andrew McKay is there. Takes possession, but then runs the ball out of play. Pretty useful game, young McKay.
Yeah, he shows that he certainly has the talent to develop into a very good footballer. He's only 20 years of age, and as we mentioned earlier, he's from Lucendale in the southeast.
Almost 18 minutes gone in the final term of the Foundation Cup game between the Tigers and the Eagles. Picked up by Pyman around his body over the top of Duthie. The Glenelg side coming out of defence through Hocking back towards the centre of the ground. Geyer loses the football, stolen by Seabone. Here's a chance now for the base through Hallahan. Played a very useful game for Hallahan. He'll lob it into the square. Now, which way will it roll? It lobs on the end of the square. Oh, getting back there was Hill with blistering pace. In fact, it was young Kretschmer. The ball had been through for a point. So Glenelg go to 10-12, the Eagles 7-8.
In blistering pace indeed. He left the pack behind, and it was only centimetres away from scoring his first goal.
O'Dwyer with a nicely placed kick. He finds Pyman. 18.5 minutes into the final term, and Pyman kicks into the man on the mark with his 10th kick. And now he's trying to soccer the ball off the ground, and eventually it is out of play. Well, at half-time, the Eagles trail by only 6 points, and they looked like they might make a go of this game. They weren't using the ball well, but they were determined, and they were certainly trying hard. The endeavour was there. But Glenelg, with just a little more composure, eked out a 19-point lead at three-quarter time. They've managed to stretch that to 22 points as Grant puts the Eagles forward. The ball punched down by Christie. Somerville through there. Paddles it out towards Colby. Colby lifts the eyes, puts the ball up high. He's searching for Wiedemann down there. Stands his ground well, Wiedemann, as is normally the case. Now Donovan, also a solid player. Wiedemann's still in there, trying to paddle it forward. He gets a handball away. Searching for Coleman, picked up by Hallahan, been very good close to the ground tonight. Now Barton puts it up. Salisbury went for the big mark, couldn't take it. Garth Newton handballed it up in the air. Taken by Pyman, kick number 11. The right foot kick goes around his... Oh, gee, big leap by McKay. Couldn't take it. Morfitt there. He has his shorts on. People will be pleased to know now. And that is a dead heat on the outer side.
And as we said a bit earlier, there's McKay, an athlete, got up high on that occasion, failed to complete the mark. So he certainly is a player of the future. He said he's from Lucendale. He had a stint at home and he's back with the Tigers.
Almost 20 minutes gone the final term. It's Glenelg 10-12, the Eagles 7-8. And James now with a chance for the Eagles up towards full forward. In front of Lukosius. He can't take the mark and the ball goes out of play. The Bays have looked the better side for most of the night. Although to the Eagles first credit, they've come back and coming up the world tonight with Jim Whaley on 9.
Throw in the left forward pocket, northern end of Football Park. Popplestone in there trying to push the ball forward. He was held, play on the call. McKay in there working hard. So too Maynard. He's been very quiet against his old side. He wouldn't be pleased with that. Clem gets the kick away. Clem started in the centre. The tackle was too high. And he finds himself back to his more familiar roving role at the moment.
So Darren Clem from the centre, back on the ball in the forward line. And, this will be a valuable goal for the Eagles.
Yes, well, it put some respectability on the scoreboard. They don't trail by a lot, and that is a lovely kick by Clem.
So Darren Clem, acting captain for the Eagles tonight, started in the centre. He's had quite a few touches, 14 in fact, 14 kicks at least, and 7 handballs. So it's been a reasonable performance from the little fella, originally from the West, and, enjoying his third year here in Adelaide, and that is his first goal.
Glenelg 10-12, the Eagles 8-8 into time on by 1.5 minutes in the final quarter. Stolen by Dean. Christie towards centre half forward, thumped away by Seabone. Moore with a hurry kick, a chance now for Pyman. The Eagles to go into attack once more. Gets a handball to Pays. Over the top to Darren Grant. From centre wing out of side. Straightens up. A long kick. Up towards centre half forward. Off hands it goes. Barton back there has played pretty well for the Bays in defence. With him is Somerville. Somerville wins out. In fact, he doesn't. Evangeline wins out. And the ball is out of play.
Young Somerville normally plays on the ball as a rover. He has got a lot of pace. Saw him in West Torrens finals playing brilliant football last year here at Football Park.
Throw in, out of side. Maynard working hard. Handballs away. James back towards half-back flank by Hallahan. Back towards Dean now with a chance. Oh, he got pushed in the back. He'll get a free kick. Young Dean. Player thought there was Wayne Wiedemann. He hasn't stopped trying tonight, Wayne Wiedemann. 12 kicks and 12 handballs to Brett Dean. And there's the siren to end the game here at Football Park, with the Tigers running out winners by 16 points.
And the Eagles, they shared the ball as much as Glenelg. But they lacked the pace and deliberate action of Glenelg. They completed more plays than the Eagles. Glenelg far more deliberate into their forward line. And they looked the part, developing their game well. As I said, the Eagles had as much as the ball, but they failed with many of the game's basics, and they've certainly got a lot of work to do.
So at the end of the game, Glenelg victorious, kicking 10 goals, 12-72 to the Eagles 8-8-56.
Yes, and whatever you do, don't miss it. Wednesday morning at 1 a.m, the series not to be missed. It'll be sensational stuff. The one-day international between Australia and the West Indies, live from Jamaica. If you can't make it at 1 a.m, highlights at 5 p.m. I tell you what, it'll be a magnificent series.
Welcome back to Football Park, and of course that's the final result. Tigers 10 goals, 12-72, the Eagles 8-8-56, a margin of 16 points.
And looking at the leading goal kickers, Thornborough kicked 4 in the second half, Lamb 2 for the Tigers, and for the Eagles, Lukosius 3 and Wiedemann 2.
And Kim, how did you see the best players for each side tonight?
Well, there were a number of good performers out there tonight, but in the end I went for the Eagles, McCarthy, Wiedemann and Moore in defence. And for the Tigers, I thought Tony Simons for a 4-quarter performance. Young Hallahan, his work close to the ground was extremely good. Simon Hill, he's just a prolific ball winner, whether he's playing on the ball or on the wing. And I thought McKay had some incredible first half and a little bit quiet in the second half.
Well, we certainly hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the big one tonight, Glenelg versus the Eagles from Football Park. And Kim, normally it's me that says good night, but tonight that is your honour.
I know that, Ken. On behalf of Ken and I, thanks for your company. We'll see you again on Friday. Good night.
Bye, everyone.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.